I hate my ex-husband and his new wife.
Hate to spare.
Just got a long email from my kid's stepmom pretty much telling me that she doesn't mind giving the kids extra clothing to go to school so long as they get it back from my house. She says the issue isn't who bought it, but the issue is getting decent clothing back. By the way, this comes from Beneficial Question 75, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Dakota.
And I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. OP says, at the same time, I got a text message from my ex-husband berating me because I didn't clip my son's fingernails on this trip. I couldn't find my nail clippers. I have a household of 5 and I am the only income. My kids don't get brand new clothing at my house. My kids have to wear their clothing until it's threadbare because I can't afford to run out and give them new clothes or even go to Goodwill and get them clothes all the time. I do the best I can on an income of $42,000 for a family of 5. My kids don't get brand new clothing at my house. My kids have to wear their clothing until it's threadbare because I can't afford to run out and get them new clothes or even go to Goodwill and get them clothes all the time. I do the best I can on an income of $42,000 for a family of 5. I don't get child support from my ex-husband, and between him and his wife, they make 80 to 90 grand a year depending on how busy his business is. I'm currently in college trying to get my bachelor's degree, and it's not cheap or easy to try to do that while working full-time and taking care of my kids. And the two of them always point out what I'm doing wrong. How my kids are suffering because I'm in school and can't spend a lot of time with them, and just generally picking me apart. I'm trying so hard to hold it all together and do the best I can, and it's never enough. I really truly feel hatred for those two, and I hate feeling that way. And there are some relevant comments. I'm just wondering
Why
they
is
don't
there
get
no child support?
Also,
And
why, if they're so worried about their kids, would they not want to, just make sure that their kids have enough clothes,
Yeah. Exactly. It seems like nonsense to me that they'd pick you apart and then not help you when it's also his kids.
It's his kids too.
Although I think for like the clothes and stuff, there's resources out there like
Clothing
Salvation
drives and
Army.
stuff, yeah.
Pop some tags at the Goodwill. There's Valley Value Center. Everything there's $1 on Tuesdays.
Well, I think OP just said I don't have.
That's
I can't afford to
bad.
run out. Oh wait, no, just I can't.
Yeah.
But there's some comments. Comment 1 says, you're doing the best you can, and I'm sure your kids know you love them. You should try to get some child support. Sounds like he's getting off easy. OP says, the last time we went to court, the only thing that happened is I got the ability and the right to claim the children on taxes every year until they're adults. The majority of his businesses, he gets paid cash under the table, and the little bit of cash he doesn't get paid under the table or that he does claim is not enough to get child support from him, and they don't look at his wife's income. Maybe if I get into a better financial situation and can afford a lawyer, I'll revisit it. I only have 2 more years and then I'll have my degree. Commenter 2 says, if he makes that much money, why aren't you getting... We already know that. Where is the other father of the older kids? OP says, deceased. He passed away in 2016. Comment 3 says, if he makes that much money, why aren't you getting child support? Comment 4, we all know this. Stop asking about the child support. We know.
Well, no, I wanted that one looked like it was more detailed about.
She makes the bulk at $65K a year. He underreports his earning, $30 to $40K a season, but he reports $10 to $15K unless he's lied to me, which could be the case too. But knowing him, I doubt it. Comment 4 says, is it underreporting or just business expenses that take away from his gross income, causing him to pay less tax? I'm not a lawyer, but I'm pretty sure her income wouldn't count. OP says, her income doesn't count. I've been dealing with this for going on 5 years now. I've gone to court several times with my clinicals starting this fall and the workload for nursing school increasing. I don't have it in me to fight a court battle too. I just need to focus on getting through the next 2 years and getting licensed. And did the ex turn the kids against OP? OP says he plays favorites with the twins, and my daughter is starting to notice. His own actions are turning them against him. I will never speak poorly of him to them, and when he doesn't show to events, like their birthday party this year, point to tell them he was really sick or something along those lines. Life's hard enough, and they don't need to feel unwanted or not important by my words. OP on her oldest kid's having a job. OP says my 15-year-old does. He's saving for a car. He is my oldest. You have to be 14 here to hold the job, so my middle has another year. OP on blocking the stepmother. OP says she has my number blocked, which is why she emails me. She blocked me after my daughter said stepmom pulled her hair when she was mad at her. Don't touch my daughter.
Also, there was a comment from Red Bull Rana that says that if the father of the oldest has passed away, you may be able to withdraw his Social Security for your kid.
Turns out she brushed my daughter's hair roughly and pulled it because my daughter was refusing to listen that morning. Not even remotely okay, but legally I was told no crime was committed and I could have documented it, but that was it. By the way, I did have it documented. OP says I'll report him to the IRS again. The vast majority of you are amazing and I really appreciate the suggestions. It can't hurt to keep reporting. For the extreme few who say I shouldn't have had kids if I couldn't afford them. I was fine. Then got married, became a stay-at-home mom with my twins, my youngest. We moved to a new state where I had zero family or support, but he had his family. Then after a year there, he cheated on me. And when we finally divorced, everything was split 50-50. Guess what? We had no savings, and with only his income, I didn't walk out with much. I hate that I have shared custody where I have to deal with someone who verbally and mentally mistreated me. I love the suggestion of the co-parenting app and will be looking into it more. OP on her ex paying child support. We have 50-50 custody. I technically make more than him. And there is an update 2 years and 2 months later.
Yeah, I would just, at least try to, I know you hate the guy, but just being like, dude, like your kids need clothes. Like, are you really going to be so prideful and stubborn and petty that you don't want to provide? And it's like, I think the thing is that he just wants to be the one to provide him himself. So he's like the better parent.
Well, even when they give the kids clothes, the stepmom's like, can you bring those back? They can't have those clothes when they're at your house. Like, that's crazy. Those are your kids' clothes.
Dude, step off, stepmom.
But there is a second update or another update 2 years and 2 months later. I made a post here 2 years ago. How I hated my ex-husband and his wife. I have an update. And I've got to update you guys about the fact that you can listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. But there is a little bit left to this story. 1, I am a registered nurse now. My kids have new clothes, and thanks to your advice, I was able to keep them in really nice clothes until I was able to afford new stuff.
Good.
2, I have a boyfriend. This is relevant.
You do?
My ex made fraudulent claims about him to DCF. He was eventually told if he continued, then the police would be involved. He still has moments where he slips up, but he's been more helpful and less condescending by a lot. Thank you to whoever suggested the parenting app. The court agreed it was a good move, and I think that above all else, that has made a huge difference. Not sure who cares, but I wanted to say thanks. And comments. Comment 1 says, so I guess the IRS never got him for working under the table. Reply says, not many IRS agents left. Doubt they're going after anyone for the difference between $10K and $40K annual income. Comment 2 says, these kinds of stories are a huge part of why I could never be a stay-at-home mom. Need to hedge risk and keep working. Reply says, 100%. Even without worrying about divorce, you never know what the future holds. The primary wage earner could get sick, become disabled, or pass away in an accident. Women stepping away from work and having to scramble to re-enter the workforce after years of pausing their careers really ends well. You do yourself and your family no favors by stopping work. Comment 3 says, wow, they were teaming up to tear her down, and now look at her. She's doing better, and they hate that.
Yeah.
And that is the end of that story.
My ex's father called me a man-whore.
Hey, congrats.
Okay, so I'm going to try to keep the main essentials. I, 21 male, met Megan, 19 female, last summer, and we began dating. We were both inexperienced at intimacies at time. I messed around with other girls before, but never had actually gone all the way before. She basically saw it, and I already lost my V card though. She has really conservative parents as I do, so who believe that you should hold off until marriage to have spicy sleep, etc. By the way, this comes from Ross Raiders, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Riley.
I'm Dakota.
And I'm Keon.
So, long story short, after dating for a while, we began having spicy sleep.
Oh, but they specifically told you not to.
But we always had protection, and we're careful.
Oh, not in the eyes of the Lord.
I just want to stress the fact that she was 18 at the time we started dating, and she turned 19 while we dated, although because she was held back a year, she was still a senior in high school while I was already in college. While we dated, her dad once asked me if I ever had spicy sleep before, and I lied and told him, no, what's that? She had told me to lie for us, so I did, and he knew where my parents worked, so I guess call me paranoid, but they have history for doing rash decisions, so I didn't want there to be a chance where they would reach out to my parents and tell them what I had done. Your parents work at the church, probably.
This is where you make a power move and you go, yes, and it was your daughter. And then they go, and they...
But he gets kicked out of the house if he does that.
Oh, man. Bummer.
But that would be a fantastic power move. We broke up in February because the relationship wasn't working. There was a lot of fighting, and we decided to split ways. It wasn't exactly amicable, but we have talked a handful of times since and have been civil. I've tried to push that whole relationship out of my life since and moved on. So, to the problem at hand. She texts me today out of the blue, randomly telling me if anyone from her family contacts me to not tell them anything or answer the phone. I asked her why. She told her sister that she doesn't have her V card anymore and that she had spicy sleep with me and one other guy after we broke up. Her sister told her parents, so she wanted to warn me before they reached out to me. I didn't really think anyone would bother contacting me, so I shrugged it off and told her whatever and left it at that. Now her dad just sent me a message on Facebook telling me he needs to speak with me when I have a chance. I haven't opened up the message as to not show the red part, but I saw the little notification on my phone. Yes, I do realize that I'm 21, and if he tells my parents, it shouldn't matter because I'm on my own and I don't really have a say in my life anymore, which they don't. But they believe about waiting till marriage for spicy sleep for religious reasons, and if they found out I had spicy sleep, it would really hurt them and most definitely make a rift in our relationship. I've already had a rocky relationship with him, and I don't want to make things worse. I have a funny story about this.
Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah?
Because I was this guy.
Oh, you're like, I can't let them know that I'm tainted meat.
I'm just going to let you guys in on some family stuff. Whenever I moved out of my apartment in Tennessee, my mom was vacuuming. She found the edge of a wrapper. You guys can come up to that.
Which rapper? Jay-Z? J. Cole?
Which rapper were you edging?
And she found that, and then she had to leave the room because I think she was disappointed. And everyone was like, my dad was like, yeah, your mom found this. She's pretty upset.
She'd be like, no, it's for Pokemon cards.
She's pretty upset. She doesn't know who it was with, and just wanted to give you a heads up. And I was like, my mom was just coming to the realization that I'm not a baby boy anymore, and I'm a man with needs.
I'm not a baby boy no more. I'm making babies, boy.
That was embarrassing.
What was your excuse where you're like, I was just practicing?
Like, I took a class in college, and I was curious.
You see that pillow in the corner? You need to throw that away, too, because I was practicing.
Yeah.
Don't touch the fruits and or vegetables.
Yeah. So I see where this is coming from because my parents also say to wait till marriage, but I am a sinful creature that can be, God still loves me though. And I've figured that out. But anyways, enough of me. Yeah, I know where this guy's coming from and it is tough. It is
Sorry,
tough.
I just imagined, anyways, enough of me, and then poof, like a puff of smoke and you just disappear. Enough of me.
That was what I wanted to happen. So OP's question, what should I do? Should I ignore the dad? What if he contacts my parents and tells them? Should I tell him anything? I don't want to argue whether I should care if my parents find out or about religious morals, just about the situation with my ex's parents. I really appreciate any advice and support you guys can offer. Boys, do we talk to the dad?
I mean, to your dad?
No.
Or her dad?
Her dad, ex's dad.
I'm going.
Do we
I'm
power
pulling
move
the,
it?
That's just me though. This guy I'm sure would not do that. He'd probably be like, well, sir, I apologize that I have to let you know now that I have spoiled the sanctity of your child.
I slipped and
outside
tripped.
of the laws of the Lord. And I think that's dumb, and you should go. That's.
Yeah, if I was at this point, I would probably message and be like, "I'm sorry, I understand. I'm sorry, I corrupted your daughter." But
Well, it's just like, dude, ask and you shall receive, my
Shut
guy.
up, no.
If you're asking about it,
the Bible.
and we broke up, by the way, so not even that good.
Dude.
Someone stop him, ref! Do something.
You hit him with we did the auga.
Ref right now is a little like jaw to the floor, but
like you got to get a soundboard set up with a bunch of old timey jalopy noises.
That's enough. Keon,
And you
what
don't
would you
even
do?
say what you did.
What would you do, Keon?
you know,
You ignoring it?
I'll just respond back, be like, you can't handle the truth. Skill issue. Sorry.
I mean, like the real answer is like, what? Don't answer. Like block.
But if you block him, I feel like it's gonna be he's one of those dads who will literally show up to your house, and it's just
Oh my god, the scary one.
yeah.
So, update. So, I've been reading all of your comments, and I appreciate everyone has been saying. I decided not to answer him and just wait it out. Because if you ignore your problems, 95% of the time they'll go away.
This isn't even your problem. It's their problem.
She texted me again telling me that she was sorry and she had come clean to her dad and hope everything works out and he doesn't take measures or measurements. I don't know what that means. Frankly, I don't care. I agree this is between him and her. We've been broken up for a while now, so there's no reason why he should be looking to me for an explanation. She texted me and told me not to ignore her dad because he has my parents' phone number and will call them if he has to. I talked to my roommate and a few of my friends that live near my apartment, and they advised me to message him back, but fill out the conversation, not to admit anything, not justify anything. It is what it is. It happened, and honestly, don't see what he gets out of talking to me or lecturing me or whatever he wants to do. I do hope he doesn't call my parents because that would be a real wiener thing to do of him for literally no reason at all. This whole thing has been such a headache that I thought was supposed to be over with. I appreciate all the input and will update once I can and will have something to update with. Here we go.
Uh-huh.
We have the conversation. We go to the dad. We sit down with him. He says, hey, I heard that you had intimate relations with my daughter. And you say, no, sir, I did not. The actual reason that we broke up is because she had intimate relations with someone else.
Oh,
And
wow.
No, you don't.
No, you
Well,
just...
tell him to stop talking, or I'm going to start spreading rumors.
No, because it just goes around what comes around. You don't want to do that.
Well, she's been going around, and now it's coming to me, and I'm going to be coming back.
You go, sir, it was strictly over the genes.
Sir, we observed the laws of God and man, and we kept it strictly over the genes. Not even really that good. Pretty unpleasant. Unpleasant over the genes.
We did the loophole, and it actually, she still has a V card, if you know what I mean.
But she lost her gene card. She cannot return those Levi's anymore.
Is that what Bill Clinton did?
Yes, that's why I said, all right, Bill Clinton. He was like, I did not have spicy relations with that woman.
I did not have.
He made a public address to saying, I did not have spicy relations with that woman. When in doubt, we all know he did.
I did not have spicy relations with that woman.
Good job.
But I did have a little fun. It doesn't count.
If it's over the genes.
It doesn't count if it's over the pants.
What did Sam used to quote this acronym all the time? OTPJ. OTPHJ. Over the pants.
You didn't need to say
You
that.
didn't need
We
to.
all knew what it meant.
On a real level, these kind of people are so annoying to me. I would like go out of my way to try to make him as uncomfortable as possible.
Yeah, I do.
If you want to come around asking about stuff you don't want to hear, get ready to hear it in the worst possible way. Okay? Have fun with that.
All right, we're getting back to the story. Update 2. Wow, this is really blown up. Blah, 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 blah. I woke up this morning and my dad called me. I feared the worst, but he only needed like basic tech support for his computer, and that's all he wanted. I felt relieved and went through my day. A little while ago, my sister calls me and asks me what my ex's dad's name is. I tell her, and she tells me that he called my dad, left a voicemail saying he was going to try and call again today. Most of my family was there, and I was on speakerphone, so they asked if I knew anything. I told them I wouldn't know why my ex's family would try to contact them after us being broken up for such a long time. My dad said it was odd, and he would wait for the phone call and see what's up. He figures her dad just wants advice on something, so he would let me know what it was about. I called my sister shortly after and told her why he was calling, and her response was literally bursting out in laughter. She thinks it's really weird for him to do this because he gains nothing from calling us. My ex is obviously not preggo, and we both don't think he would try to pull the consent card, so we figured he just wants to tell on me. Basically, that would just be it. My sister and my dad are hanging out all day today. She told me not to worry about it and it'll be okay. She will be texting me and let me know or give me a heads up if anything happens. As soon as I get a response, I will let you guys know. Update 1 month later. This sister is the best sister ever. Oh my gosh. She's a real one. Update 3, 1 month later.
Okay, the baby's here.
So, wow, that last post pretty much blew up again. Blah, 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 blah. You're so popular. We love you. So I wanted to wait until after the weekend to post the update because a lot happened. And, oh, man, it's a pretty good update that most of you will enjoy. So her dad called my dad and was very emotional and pretty pissed off that I lied to him in the sense that I told him that I hadn't slept with his daughter, but didn't plan on telling him. What else are you supposed to say? Yes, I plan on going hard in the paint. What the F? Sir, may I have your permission to go in that kadushi? Sir, can I have permission to just slime in it?
Sir, may I have your permission to slay the punani?
It's when she asked, at the dinner table, Daddy, can you pass the salt? And both of you reach for the salt.
Yep, that's a great, one day that'll happen. My dad was pretty taken back and didn't really know what to say. Her dad continued on saying how he wanted to let my parents know what a man, which I was, and how I took his daughter's virginity and that I needed to be fixed.
You can't really fix that.
I have a theory on how to fix it. What if I reverse what I did?
You time travel and then you have to execute the past version of you and take their place. So I think that's even worse, right? Yeah, I don't know.
My dad just told him he was sorry. He was disappointed in me, and he would handle it.
Oh, Dad's gonna handle it?
Daddy's gonna handle it.
Dad's gonna fix this?
Dad's gonna talk to the other dad and be like, look, my boy bangs. And regardless of how not in accordance with the laws of the Lord it is, my son bangs.
Dude, how do you can't fix this.
Those two
This must
dads
be
are
the
gonna
most
fight.
awkward conversation to have.
Imagine being a dad on the other end of the phone like, I'll fix this.
The amount of
So,
emotions going through my brain, and probably his brain, is, oh, wow.
This is how they're going to fix it. He's like, I'm going to take care of this. The two dads are going to meet up for a boxing match, and whoever wins, their kid still gets to be a virgin. I think that's what they're going to rock with here.
Oh, gosh. Okay. He talked to him some more and calmed him down and then hung up and blocked his number.
Oh man, it's the oh man, your son banged my daughter. I guess I have to bang you. It's like,
Oh, he's gonna do the what was that? He's doing the American Beauty.
Real quick, just imagine your dad having this conversation. What did you just say? The American Duty?
No, it's a movie. Yeah. I don't. Spoiler alert. Sorry, that movie's been out for almost 30 years now.
Oh man, sorry, I American pied your daughter. Sorry, I need to say. My dad called me and told me what happened. I did not give him a heads up. He was pretty calm about it. For a bit, he thought the guy wanted money or something, but when he realized he was basically wanted to tattle, he just left it at that. My mom, on the other hand, called me shortly after and flipped out on me about how I could have gotten her preggo, and I didn't even think about what would have happened if she got preggo or if I got an STD and had a whole bunch of other things. Basically a fun time for me. Now, I know what those conversations are like too. By the way, you can cure all your STDs by listening to your favorite podcast platform. Just look up OK Storytime and click on Apple, iHeartRadio, or Spotify and cure your STDs with listening to more stories just like this.
Put an asterisk down there beneath him where it's like, this is not actual medical advice.
I am a medical claimed doctor. I am a
Put
woman doctor.
Parentheses right under it. He's lying. He's lying.
Yes, gonorrhea, schirizzaria, and
Schirizzaria. I don't want that one.
Diarrhea.
Schirizzaria.
An STD.
Sounds like it's just someone's last name.
Gonorrhea and herpes.
And my name's Tony Schirizzaria.
Anyways, we got a little bit left here of this cursed episode with all the boys back.
The boys are
any
back.
last thoughts real quick? before we just gotta torch this?
On a real level, if the parents are like, you didn't even think about if she could get pregnant, it's like, that's on you, stupid. You should have taught your son about the dangers and the risks.
Okay.
Instead, you're just like, we'll never talk about it. Probably. Probably.
Knowing how this person was raised and his parents are religious, the only way to talk about it was don't do it or you're gonna go to hell. And then that's all you get.
Yeah,
that's sex school
exactly.
education right there.
That sounds accurate. And look, I remember that was my biggest fear because it had been hammered home to me. It's like, if you have a baby, your life is over. And I was like, ah! So it was scary. But that's why you use these things. You use the protection.
I didn't know that was a thing for a really long time.
And you gotta know how to. By the way, you gotta know how to use it right. You can't. There's a way to do
out
it.
and not in.
There's a way to do it, and I'm not gonna explain it because I don't want to.
I went home this past weekend to pick up something from my parents' house I needed for my apartment, something that was mine. Just couldn't take it with me the first time because it didn't fit in the car. So it was a pretty awkward weekend. I did see my sister, and she made so many jokes about how one would go fixing a situation like this, how my ex wanted to. But yeah, that's the update. All is well for now. Many awkward conversations were had. Relationships with parents is pretty much strained. Smiley face. Comment number 1. I'm a little disappointed in OP's dad. Apologizing to the ex-girlfriend's dad and saying he's disappointed in his son. Dude needs to grow some balls. Should have replied, okay, why are you telling me all this? Well, I try to concern myself with the personal and intimate choices of other consenting adults. Whether they are related to me or not, it's pretty weird not only that you are this upset, but also that you're calling me about it when it's really neither of our businesses. If ex-girlfriend or OP have any concerns about how they handle things, they can discuss it with each other. Don't call me. In reply, I mean concerning OP's parents also share the same religious beliefs of waiting till marriage. He handled it pretty well. Not everything needs to be a confrontation. His mom, on the other hand, ... Yeah, that's how I imagine two people of the same religion having a conversation, still supporting another brother or sister in Christ or whatever, and they're just like, But the dad did the best thing by blocking the number.
Yeah,
that's how he fixed it.
Yeah, this is, I don't know. This is a thing. It happened, and we'll never speak again. Bye forever. Good. Deal with that in whatever way you want to.
Yep, guys, we got another story.
My wife asked for an open relationship, then cheated with her ex.
I think you jumped the gun.
My wife, 33 female, and I, 30 female, have been together for 6 years and married for 3. The past 18 months have been hard. Conflict over my enmeshed family, less spicy sleep, constant arguing for miscommunication, and we dropped out of couples counseling because of my school and workload. I returned to college to start a new career, fully encouraged by my wife. By the way, this comes from Danny Thinks, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, she told me she was getting lonely and asked for an open relationship. I was hesitant, but I agreed. A couple weeks later, she changed her mind. Dating apps weren't for her. So she got on Bumble BFF and made 4 new friends. Then she asked me if she could message her ex from 10 years ago to make amends. I was surprised because she had already done that 6 years ago and was rejected. But she insisted, so I said okay. Her ex responded kindly this time, and they started emailing daily. My wife said she felt a friendship was possible even though we had a rule. Exes remain acquaintances. I was cautious since my wife's previous exes have crossed boundaries before, and it's made me feel invisible and disrespected. But I said okay again on the condition she maintains healthy boundaries. 1 week later, she says their conversations are deep and emotional and things are progressing really fast. By talking to her ex, she realized how she's repeated old bad patterns from her past relationships into our marriage. I let her talk without prying, even though I was uncomfortable. Then she tells me she's feeling emotionally connected to her ex, but says it's still just a friendship. I trusted her and reassured myself that emotional closeness doesn't have to be romantic. Then she starts meeting up with her ex every weekend. I mentioned how fast it's escalating, and she says it feels natural and not rushed to her. Another week later, she says she feels in alignment with herself around this connection. I ask, are you catching feelings? She says no. Then, on a long car trip to visit my family, she drops this. She wants to explore her feelings for her ex and reopen our relationship with this person. I'm gutted, but she says it's not about the ex, it's about her not repressing her needs anymore. I cave. I say yes, even though I'm passing away inside because I just want her to be happy. But I wake up the next day in a rage. I feel betrayed. I trusted her. She said this would be a friendship. I felt like, in hindsight, she downplayed everything. I tell her I'm no longer okay with it. She says she communicated every step of the way and that I just wasn't paying attention. We go back and forth. Eventually, I say, fine, have your open relationship, but I'm telling you, I'm not okay. She thanks me and says she'll respect boundaries. We agree to no spicy sleep, only level 1 physical contact like hugs or a hand graze. Level 2, PDA, and level 3, kissing. However, at this point, my wife said the thought of kissing her ex repulsed her and was way too soon to think about. Then the next day, she meets her ex. It's imperative for me to state how many days and weeks I spent crying over my wife's decision to pursue this open relationship, even though I continuously told her I wasn't okay. I was sounding like a broken record at some point, always bringing it up, but always telling her, go ahead and do it, but I'm struggling and I'm not okay. So before she met up with her ex, I caved in and couldn't hold it together. I expressed again how much this is hurting me, and it pissed my wife off. She said, why would you tell me this right before I see my ex? Why did you give me your blessing if you never meant it? Make up your mind. I'm done with this back and forth. You are insensitive for choosing to bring this up right before I see her. After meeting up with her ex, my wife comes home wearing a noticeably new necklace. I ask about it. She says her ex gave it to her because my message, the one where I said it wasn't okay anymore, made her think she'd never see my wife again. She wore the necklace because it made her feel better. That crushed me. We have an update.
Dang, man. Dang.
I mean,
Wow.
you gave her permission.
Yeah. I think you need therapy, OP. I think that you're going into this relationship being like, well, if I tell her how I feel, she'll stop doing it. But I think you need to either say, no, I'm not okay with that, or leave. Maybe both.
Yeah. We need to cut out all the I guess it's fine,
not
but I'm
fine.
not comfortable. You're not fine.
Like, I think there's this idea that if you say that a person can't, if you say, no, I don't want you to do that, it's controlling.
yeah.
It's more so you say, she comes to you and says, I want to go see my ex. And then you say, I'm not okay with that. You can't do that. And then they have to decide whether or not they want to stay in the relationship.
Yeah.
So either they go and do that thing that you said don't do that, or they stay in the relationship. That's kind of...
You can still have your boundaries,
Yes,
though.
those are boundaries, OP.
We have an update. I changed my mind about the open relationship last minute before she saw her ex on Sunday. The next day, on Monday, my wife was so wrecked about my decision that she took the day off of work and stayed in bed crying. She was on her phone all day, too. I tried comforting her, but it didn't do much, and she wouldn't go into detail about why she was upset. I don't know what happened next, but at some point Monday night, we were arguing. It was probably the necklace because she was wearing it all night while she grieved. I didn't know it at the time, so I asked her, where did you get that necklace? I've never seen it before. And she told me her ex gave it to her as a goodbye. At this point, I'm still not aware that the kiss happened on the same day her ex gave her the necklace as a goodbye. I do remember telling my wife that I need her to give the necklace back before I lose my crap. At some point during our arguing, I got frustrated and stepped outside our bedroom to cool off. My wife sent a flurry of text messages to me saying how much her needs never get met, how much I don't care about her feelings, and how insensitive and immature it was for me to send that text and change my mind moments before she met up with her ex. We were just going back and forth, firing emotionally charged texts at each other, so I had enough of the back and forth texting. I decided to go into our bedroom and confront her. I go into the bedroom expecting an angry, emotional wife, but what do I find? I walk in and my wife is on her phone giggling and texting. I'm like, what the heck are you laughing at? I thought you were pissed. And she's quickly trying to adjust her mood and downplay her actions. I said, are you texting your ex right now? And she said, yeah. I was like, are you seriously laughing and being unserious with your ex while we're in the middle of arguing? It's past 10 p.m. Why the heck are you guys still texting? And my wife was like, fine, okay, whatever. On Tuesday morning, I had a text drafted and ready to send to my wife about how I really needed her to enforce boundaries with her ex if we're going to make our marriage work. I told her, look, I only have 2 weeks left in my semester. And remember, we said we're going to work on our marriage and do at-home therapy when my semester is over. How are you going to focus on our marriage when you seem so consumed with texting your ex? Texting her during our argument, wearing her necklace in our home? Where is the space to repair our bond? You need to create space from your ex if this is going to work, because now I'm under the impression that this girl is texting you all morning, all afternoon, all night, every day. That is not a friendship. It's borderline courtship. Well, before I had a chance to send my wife this text, she texted me saying she had something to share. So in her text, she told me that she kissed her ex and that the text I sent before she met up with her ex, where I changed my mind last minute, pushed her to make that decision because she wanted to exercise control and not feel powerless to my decision. And she's sick of feeling like my feelings control her every move. She wrote lots of other meaningful stuff, but I couldn't get past the kiss, and I addressed that immediately. She said the kiss meant nothing to her, and it's not about her ex, it's about herself and choosing her needs for once. I was like, but you told me you couldn't even fathom kissing her. You said you had to take baby steps before kissing her.
OP, let me introduce you to something called lying.
There's this
this new thing called lying.
I also feel really bad for the ex because she's kind of just like a pawn in their marriage right now.
Terrible, yeah. Like OP, like this wife reaches out to her ex once. The ex says, "Hey, no." Waits a couple of years, reaches out again. Ex is like, "Oh, okay, yeah, we can be friends," and then is dragged into this whole thing where they're like, "Yeah, like, you want to be in a we can be in an open relationship.
Yeah,
You know, it's totally fine. My partner's all cool with it," and they're like, "Okay, I guess so." Yikes.
And my wife said again that my text before meeting up with her ex pushed her to do it. And then I guess that's around the time her ex gave the necklace to my wife. So I was angry hearing all of this. I was home and my wife was at work. I went digging for the necklace even though my wife said she'll give it back. I found the ex's necklace and kept telling myself, don't throw it away because you're going to escalate things. Your wife said she'll give it back. But I guess the devil in me said, when exactly is she gonna give it back? Plus, they kissed each other and your wife still came home after the kiss and wore the necklace. So I went ahead and threw that crap in the dumpster, and I felt dang good about it. I then texted my wife telling her I was in so much pain and anger that I threw her ex's necklace in the trash in an attempt to feel better. To which my wife responded, "This is it, we're getting a divorce. Clearly, you're not mature. Let's call this off before you do something worse." I told her fine. I took the necklace out of the trash. I thought I was way too nice for taking the ex's necklace out of the trash. So I peed on it in order to get some sort of revenge and maybe feel powerful against her ex for one.
I hate you both. You both suck. Everyone sucks here.
I hate you for making me read that sentence.
What is this stupid power dynamic that keeps happening?
OP just said,
I kissed my ex to get power. And then,
I peed on the necklace. What?
OP just said claimed. That's mine now.
Are you a dog?
Are we wolves?
Yeah. That's wild. You took it out of the trash to just pee on it.
She went, I was too nice for taking it out of the trash.
Where did you pee on it? Wait. Where did you? Oh, I don't even want to.
You suck. You both suck. Dude, this is a match made in heaven. You both suck.
My wife came home from her lunch break to take the necklace. I have no idea if she gave it back or if she's hiding it somewhere. I haven't asked. Either way, they have a piss-stained necklace and don't even know it. Later on Tuesday, she sent me step-by-step instructions on getting a divorce in California. We have no kids, we don't own any property, so it should be straightforward. Wednesday morning, my wife texted me that she still sees divorce as a solution, but But right now, the steps in the process are not something she wants to do because she believes it will further complicate our lives, and this whole ordeal has stressed her enough. She's not ready to go through it. She said that instead of divorce and instead of me moving out, she would like us to separate and have me stay in the guest bedroom and take the guest bathroom until she can figure out how to create distance between her and her ex. She also said she wants her ex to remain in her life because she believes her ex is a genuinely good person who makes a good friend and helps her grow in a positive way. It is now Thursday, and I wish I could say our space from each other has made things better, but things have gotten worse. We have another update. How are you feeling?
Wow. 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 They're still together?
They're still together.
We have the divorce fake out and they're still together?
They're still living together. They're not getting a divorce, but they're staying in separate rooms. Everything is still the same otherwise, except for the necklace.
Duchess Cassandra says maybe the wife wants to stay married for the tax break and
I
insurance.
was also thinking.
Yep, everyone sucks here.
Yeah.
Confirmed.
Yeah, both of them are addicted to drama. They both choose chaos every step of the way.
Miss Woozy says, why does OP... Yeah, sorry. Miss Woozy says, why does OP have to take the guest room? It's like adding insult to injury. Well, this is what happened. Girlfriend says, our wife says, you have to take the guest room. And OP went, I'm not happy about it, but okay.
I guess I'll do it. Update number 3. In the 3 to 5 days since this happened and since this post, my wife told me that she is going to continue seeing her ex and let it develop into a romantic, spicy related relationship. She said if I don't want her to do it while we're still married, then she will do it as soon as we divorce. She said the ideal situation is that I stay married to her while she pursues this romantic / spicy related relationship with her ex and then see if she still wants this marriage with me. But I cannot handle them being together while we're married. I love my wife so much that I'd be dumb enough to stay while she does this because I want to be a couple at the end of the day. But I think I should respect myself and walk away. So unfortunately, divorce is on the horizon. I will do my best to make sure I'm the one who serves her first. By the way, we can serve you with full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app and search OK Storytime. We have another update.
Wow.
Let's discuss.
They're just, this has all been one big power play.
Yeah.
Like constantly back and forth of who can win.
Yeah. The wife is pushing this as far as you will let her, and you're letting her.
You're like, oh. I mean, even that last line of, I hope I serve the divorce papers first. Why?
It's
you want to
just
win?
Drama.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Your Poison Tonic says they both have control issues.
Yep.
Can I let you in on some irony to finish this off? When my wife dated her ex all those years ago, her ex was a married woman. And when her ex went through a divorce, she had rebound date girlfriends before her divorce was even finalized. Sound familiar? And you didn't take this as a warning.
Come on, OP. Come on.
Now my wife is doing to me what her ex did to her. She can't even see it because at this point in her life, her and her ex are just so compatible and inseparable, and my wife is tired of feeling like she can't get what she wants in our marriage. In her words, she is not choosing us. She owned up to being selfish and choosing herself, even if it destroys our marriage. That is the end of that story.
Oh, your marriage is gone, man.
There is no marriage.
I cut off my ex without letting him explain because the situation is weird. I don't need to hear your story. Okay, so here it goes. I, 20 female, broke up with my ex-boyfriend, Hiram. He is 22 male, and I broke up with him 2 days ago. We met on a dating app a few months back and officially dated for less than a month. During this time, I met his sister, Daphne, 21 female, and I'd also meet Hiram in person. When I met him in person, things went well, and he made a good impression on my friends. By the way, this comes from Levi Athena 77752, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So what's the problem? The problem was that something didn't feel right about his relationship with Daphne. Not that anything was inappropriate between them, just that things didn't make sense and felt off. I won't give too many examples for privacy reasons, but I will say that the two main events that rang alarm bells in my head were the time that Hiram insisted that I told him something that I'd actually told Daphne instead. The other one was when he showed me his family tree that he'd spent a long time working on. And Daphne wasn't on there, but his brother was. When I asked about it, he said that he didn't add her, but upon deepening it further, it doesn't make sense because we're from a community where family history is hella important. And it's hard to believe that he'd trace his family back by centuries upon centuries, but not add his own living sister. The more I thought about it, the less sense it made. Things basically came to head when I asked about family pictures, and he said that he had none, and neither did his parents.
You liar.
Yeah.
He's like, no one has pictures.
Right.
No one's ever taken a picture. We're vampires.
Right.
You can't take a picture of us.
Usually I wouldn't question people's family traditions or dynamics, but it felt dodgy that she wasn't in his family tree, and now he couldn't even show younger photos. He's previously explained that she wasn't close to the family, which I understand because my sister is estranged from the family too, but I still show pictures of us as kids and talk about her a lot despite being no contact. For me, that comes with getting to know me, getting to know my family through me too. Maybe that's just me and that's okay. Regardless, the family photo thing was the final straw for me and I couldn't see a way forward because I felt uneasy. The day after that conversation, I dumped him over the phone. I didn't want to flat out accuse him of lying, especially without any definitive proof, so I explained that I didn't feel like I could trust him, and it was partly due to how he'd react when I would talk about his sister. I also reflected a bit, and I said that I've got some inner work to do, and he deserved better than me. The conversation lasted 5 minutes and was hecka awkward. He was understandably upset. Also, immediately after, Daphne messaged me saying that she heard what happened and kind of went off on me. Oh, I thought you weren't that close to the family, though.
But you weren't really there.
How'd you know so fast? She accused me of not trusting her, which isn't exactly true. I was more suspicious of her brother. She kind of tried to claim that I clearly had hard feelings towards them. I didn't. Following the phone call, I kept getting a lot of messages from Hiram and Daphne, mainly ranging from shifting the blame on me, I'll take it, to giving me instructions, to even making it out like I was lying about how I felt. I had to take them both off of my do not disturb exception list so that I wouldn't reply immediately. Both Hiram and Daphne messaged me saying that he hadn't moved for hours after the call. Obviously, this with the messages from Hiram made me worried that he seriously wasn't taking it well, so I found his coworker on Instagram and messaged them to check in on him to make sure he's okay, since I needed space. The next day, I woke up to him messaging me, asking to not message his friends, and I'll admit, I was a little pissed off. I asked him what I should do instead and if I had misstepped. I also told him that he'd made me feel like a monster when I was just worried. This was then followed by an apology and just more awkward messages. Here's where I risk being the a-hole. In one of the last few messages, he'd asked if he could call me again so that he could explain his side. Usually I would hear people out, but after his behavior, I don't know if I just want to end it here for good or let him explain himself. My friends agreed that the whole situation about Daphne was just extremely off and were worried that she may not be who they say she is. I'm scared that if I let him explain myself, there will be expectation for me to take him back. And after seeing his reaction to this whole thing, I don't think I can get involved with him again. But also, if I don't hear him out, I fear it may be unfair of me. So if you've read this far, first of all, thank you. And second of all, don't hesitate to leave your opinion. I actually really need it. So would I be the a-hole if I don't hear him out? And there's a quick edit. When I say I met Daphne, I meant that I'd met her online on Instagram after we moved our conversation off the dating app, not in person. And there is an update. But do you think OP would be the a-hole?
Okay, just to recap information we have.
Of course.
So far, OP knows that Hiram has told her that Daphne is his sister.
Yep.
Refuses to show any proof of this.
Yeah.
Refuses to let them really meet.
Yeah.
Besides like her harassing OP on Instagram.
Yeah.
And now instead of trying to like be like, yeah, this is my sister. Here's, would love to have you guys come together, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
They're attacking OP, which doesn't even make sense in what he said, because he said they weren't close, but now they're close enough to attack his girlfriend.
Right.
I think that you could say, hey, if you want to meet and talk like adults and explain what this relationship with Daphne or whatever, sure.
Right.
But right now, I really don't appreciate you attacking me, making me feel crazy. So,
yeah. No, exactly. It's just, because, it doesn't seem like you guys have been dating for that long. I think if you wanted to break up, you can break up. You don't need to explain that. I don't think it's going to be unfair. Maybe, I guess, it would be unfair if you don't hear him out. I don't really totally see why, but even if
Yeah.
it was, I don't care.
Who cares?
I don't care. Just
yeah.
move on.
He
You
shouldn't
don't.
be harassing you.
Yeah, they're
And
this
getting
is-
his sister to harass you. Quote
Right.
unquote sister.
This is such like high school drama of just
Yeah.
like all of this texting of like meh, 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 meh. And then it's
Too
just like
much.
just walk away. You don't want to
Just-
date him anymore.
Yeah. Get
so
out of there.
it doesn't you don't owe him literally anything.
Nope.
I don't care. So there is an update though. So a lot of people were telling me to just block, while some people were curious but told me to proceed with caution. I decided to message Hiram and asked him to tell me what he expected if we were to call so that he could explain himself. I did this so that I could decide from his response whether or not the call would be a good idea. That's a good way to go about it.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, he changed his mind and said that he wasn't going to call me. I'll admit I got a little bit annoyed and asked him what changed. His response? I don't know, sorry. I got a little bit annoyed again. He then gave me the same recycled message of, I'll leave you alone. Hope you find someone amazing. You're amazing. Which I wouldn't have minded, only he sent me that message multiple times instead of actually leaving me be. I promised him that I wouldn't settle for less, and then I started typing my message. I won't paste what I said word for word, but I'll try to sum it up. Essentially, I told him that I had thought about it for a day and a bit and decided that we should go no contact. I explained that while he may not have meant to, his messages came across as manipulative and guilt-tripping. For example, him saying that he hadn't moved for hours after I dumped him. And yeah, that's such a lie. That's such a I haven't moved for hours.
I've been in the fetal position since
Yeah.
she broke up with
After
me.
my 1 month talking phase just broke up with me. I haven't moved. Look how much you ruined me.
It's just like he's
Stupid.
like I've been stuck in the same position. I couldn't even text you. I just
It's
froze.
stupid.
I was just devastated.
And we're just no way to talk to someone who broke up with you. I told him it felt like he shut me out even though I was willing to give him a chance to explain. Don't worry, I wasn't planning on taking him back, and I told him as much because after seeing how he and Daphne reacted to the breakup, I couldn't marry into such a family if that's what we were dating for. I then advised him to seek support and open up more, as well as wishing him well. I probably should have blocked him right after that message, but I didn't want to risk having a longer conversation by hopping platforms, so I let him reply. Hiram basically argued against my points and apologized for coming across the wrong way. He also brought up the thing about me messaging his coworker, which 2 people brought up in the first post, and said that it was a breach of privacy and he didn't want her to worry about him. Maybe I'm the a-hole here for messaging her, but I told him that the only reason I did that was because he literally told me that he couldn't move because of me and that I couldn't message his, quote, sister because she was basically attacking me, and she also told me the same thing. He also told me that he wouldn't message my friends in this case, and I told him I would have appreciated it if he did because it would have shown me that he cared, but to each their own, and that's okay. He then apologized for Daphne's actions and claimed that he was going to have a word with her, which I don't know how to feel about because why are you both mad at me, LMAO? And I want to know, why aren't you going to iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app to search OK Storytime? Because we've got full episodes with more stories just like that one. So after this story,
Why aren't you doing that? Why aren't you going and look at them?
get on over there.
Why not?
Why aren't you doing that?
Why not?
But there is a little bit more to the story. But yeah, girl, just block him.
Yeah.
It is not worth it.
1 month. I'd be like, oh, this is exhausting. I do not want to be in a
Literally.
relationship with this person long term.
No.
Bye.
Yeah, I don't know why you both are mad at me. I'm just gonna let you guys go crazy on your own. Sorry
Yeah.
if you can't move. Talk to your freaking sister, I guess, if
talk
you
to your
need
doctor.
help. Yeah,
I don't
like
know. Sorry.
talk to a therapist if you are so
If you're debilitated by a 1
Yeah.
month relationship ending.
yeah, like that's a huge problem. Oh gosh, such high school type stuff,
Yikes.
and it's annoying me.
It's annoying.
It's annoying me.
I'm upset.
I don't like it. But there is a little bit more to the story. So then Hiram told me that the reason he changed his mind about calling me was because he panicked and it was too awkward for him, which I understand. I told him that he could have communicated that earlier and maybe he should work on that. I've struggled with the same thing. I know it's not easy. I told him that I wasn't happy things ended this way, but I messaged because it needed to be done. I thanked him for everything, wished him well, and then blocked him on one platform. All platforms, girl.
All
All
platforms.
What are you doing?
All platforms.
What are you doing? You silly goose? What's going on? He then messaged me on 2 other platforms, once to tell me that he wanted to be friends, but knew friendship was a 2-way relationship, yada, yada, yada. And then the final message was to thank me before I blocked him on that platform too. I've blocked him everywhere and did the same for Daphne. Lesson learned, trust your gut. Yeah, good job. You got there eventually.
You got there. That's all right.
You got there eventually.
It's okay.
Maybe dragged on for a little longer than it needed to, but it happens. It's okay.
It happens.
My girlfriend is upset that I cried over a video game.
Well, she should support you showing your emotions.
As a young adult growing up during the quarantine era, I, male 23, got really into video games, as did most of the people that I hung out with at the time. I got used to playing video games as a way to relax and connect with other people during my downtime. Only recently did I start playing single-player games as a means of entertainment, well past the prime years for gaming. By the way, this comes from Throwaway Opinion Gatherer and from Opinion Gatherer 789. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. We're getting 2 people on this right now.
Ooh-wee.
This is exciting stuff. Okay.
I like when that happens.
My girlfriend, female 23, is really chill. She's super down to earth, and for
So
the most
chill.
part, she's always put a lot of effort into understanding me. I'm a pretty social person who dealt with putting up masks to get a quick laugh from people, and so I felt really isolated for a while. When I met my girlfriend, she really put in a lot of effort to get past those walls and see me for who I truly was. Cut to 3 years later, and this is the biggest fight I think we've ever had. I recently finished Final Fantasy VII Rebirth after
That's a
playing
game.
through the remake just a few months ago. I won't spoil it for anyone here, but that game gets really emotional towards the latter half. Now, I've never been a sappy person or want to cry at movies, and I think this is the biggest reason my girlfriend has been having issues with my, quote, behavior. I was cooking dinner for the 2 of us when the main theme, Sector 7 theme from the first game, for those who are curious, came on. Now, this is a relatively slow song with a lot of strings and feelings woven into the melodies, or at least for me it is. I really don't know what came over me, but I started to get teary-eyed while listening to it, thinking about some of the characters and the events of the game. I don't think there's really been a piece of media that has affected me in this kind of way, but I found myself particularly saddened at that moment by the narrative of the game. So my girlfriend obviously noticed this and realized that I was crying and immediately grew concerned. When I told her it was nothing, she kept pushing. I thought the reason I was crying was pretty stupid too, so I kind of lied in hopes of diverting the subject. I just told her that it was from the onions I was cutting earlier. They were
He's like, it's fine. It's fine.
they were shallots, but close enough. And I left it at that. Well, apparently I was very quietly sobbing or something because she called BS a few minutes later.
Dude, this is so funny.
This
Opie's
is
there
really
playing
funny.
Final Fantasy Rebirth and like crying.
Yeah.
And she's like, what's going on? He's like, it's just the onions I was cutting earlier. And she was like, okay. And then she comes and he's like, and she's like, dude, the onions are nowhere to be found.
Right. They have to be in front of you to make you cry.
Yeah.
Like, it's not how it works.
Onions. I'm very sensitive to onions.
So, a few minutes later, she started getting upset, thinking that I had done something like be unfaithful to her. And so, rather than be caught in
What?
another lie, I just told her the truth. Unfortunately, this just made her more upset.
What? I'm sorry.
What?
She saw you crying and she jumped to, you cheated on me.
That's crazy talk.
That's insane. Why is that the first thing you jump to?
That's
Projection?
actually so.
Projection?
No, honestly, I mean, if it's that out of left field, then it probably
Yeah,
is.
she's like, I've never seen you cry before. You must be cheating on
You
me.
must just be like so overflowed with guilt.
You're
that
so
you just
guilty.
start crying and you're lying to me about it right now. I
Unbelievable.
just know it. She was going on and on about how I was so immature for letting a video game girl remain in my thoughts for weeks after I finished playing the game. She said that she was upset that I was replacing my, quote, mental headspace with a, quote, misogynistic dream girl that she thinks I believe is a better version of her. Wow.
Whoa.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
That is so crazy.
Oh my gosh.
She's gonna have a hard time when GTA 6 drops.
Dude.
That is so
Dude.
insane.
Oh my god.
girl from the game does look very similar to my girlfriend, I must admit, but that just shows you how pretty my girlfriend is. Regardless, I tried telling her that the actual narrative of the game was frankly ingenious and how the song was just a trigger. It's not the girl herself that's making me cry, it's the narrative that she's involved in. Also, it's an emotional song. Like, without knowing what happens in the game, I feel like I could be sad to a song like this. Anyways, she wasn't having it and she made me sleep on the couch that night. And the night after that. I'm starting to get really mad, and I admit admit I was getting frustrated with her that she was treating me poorly because I became emotional over a game. I'm frustrated that I discovered something that moved me like no other game or movie has ever done before, and for some reason I'm being punished for showing my emotions in front of my own partner. I asked my mom for some advice since I'm thinking of breaking up with her for treating me like this over some little disagreement, but after explaining the situation from both sides, she sided with my girlfriend.
What is going on?
Now I have my direct family calling me childish, and all my friends are making fun of me for being into 2D girls. I'm literally not into her, by the way. If you played this game, you would understand what I'm talking about. Since nobody in my community has really played single player games, I feel like I'm talking to a bunch of people who just aren't going to understand what I'm saying here. I'm getting a lot of anime waifu comments from my girlfriend's friends.
Not even anime.
Yeah. And overall, I'm becoming more and more done with this situation. I really love my girlfriend like a lot, but this simple misunderstanding is tearing our relationship apart. I'm trying to communicate not only my own feelings, but also how she might be taking the situation a bit farther than it reasonably needs to. So Reddit, I need your advice. Do I cut my losses and break it off over something as stupid as this? I kind of don't want to let a fake girl tear my relationship apart. That just feels dumb. Am I being immature? I want her to understand, but I feel as though she's not listening to me. If I don't break it off, how do you think I go about amending this? I just want some honest advice. And here's to hoping my girlfriend and her friends don't find this story and make even more fun of me.
Dude.
There are some relevant comments, but I want to hear yours.
Okay, I have the best solution.
What is it?
You make her play Final Fantasy.
Ooh,
whatever
there
it
you
is.
go.
Yeah. You just
Yeah.
say, okay, you know what? You're not getting me. I need you to sit down,
Yeah.
play it all the way through, and then we'll talk.
Yeah. Honestly, I think that would be good. Like, I have played a few video games, but I'm not a huge video game person. My brother really is. And I didn't really understand that stuff. I think at first, if he didn't tell me about it, any of these video games being emotional, I'd probably be like, oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
What's going on there? But after learning about some of these games, man, and I played one of his and I totally cried at the end. Totally.
And also just talk to her and say well, okay, some people are more emotional.
Yeah.
Some people cry never.
Yeah.
Some people cry at the drop of the hat. Some people cry a lot, maybe not the drop of the hat, but fairly often, and that's me.
Yeah.
And that's
I'm
okay.
the drop of the hat type. That's me.
I cry fairly often. And that's okay.
That's okay.
That's okay.
And it's okay too, to be a man and do that.
It is. I think if you have little boys that you're raising, your children, not
Yeah.
just little boys that you found, little boys that you're raising, who are your children.
If you found some, you can gather up some
gather
little
up
boys.
some little boys and tell them that it's okay to cry.
Yeah.
If they're crying, don't say, "Oh, you're a big boy, don't cry." It's
Yeah.
okay, you're feeling this emotion. Let's work through it.
Exactly. It's just an emotion, guys. Men have all of these same emotions
It's
too.
just water from your eyes.
It's not that big of a deal. But there are some relevant
Scoop it up and-
comments. Dada, I beat Nick. What? That's a crazy name. Dada, I beat Nick. Look, if I was reading a novel and I cried, I don't think anyone would criticize me. Gloomy Ruminant says, I'd never think anything of someone crying while reading, but if I walked into the kitchen and found my husband sobbing over a book he read days ago, I would be pretty taken aback and would start to worry that maybe something else was going on with him that I wasn't seeing. However, the girlfriend's subsequent reaction is unhinged. And LP responds, I think that's what was freaking her out the most. I'm not usually an emotional person. I think I've cried in front of my girlfriend twice. I think she's suspecting that more is going on than what I am telling her, because in her eyes, this is out of character for me. But in reality, I just haven't experienced stuff like this before. Sovereign Naive. Not only did your girlfriend read the situation with extreme bad faith and lack of empathy, she turned to her friends to make fun of you and shame you. That is not what a loving and respecting person does in a disagreement. Is that something that you are okay with in a relationship? You are not having issues because of 2D girls. You are having issues because of her behavior. She built her own narrative and is refusing to see your point of view over something completely harmless and low stakes. What happens when you build your future together and have to discuss heavier things? Also, I know that despite the popularity of gaming, there still exists a lot of people who do not understand the medium. But are stories not a universal concept?
Stories are the oldest thing in the world.
That's all there is. I mean, if you look
our
at...
whole
Nuh-uh, there's rocks.
That's true. Rocks are the oldest thing in the world.
you got me.
You're right. You're right.
But-
Stories are how we build culture. Stories are
Yeah.
how we build relationships.
Right. I mean, if you look at any single art
History.
form,
Yeah.
any art form, it's about telling a story.
I mean,
Like,
before
that's-
we had books of that recorded everything, we had oral history,
Yeah.
which is how we pass down culture
And that's-
and
Yeah.
family, and
Right.
that was how things were
It's just
passed
what
down.
we've got. I mean,
And story
that's
has
how you
changed and developed.
that's how you converse with people.
Mhm.
It's just how you
That's why-
connect.
yeah, so I feel
It's
very lucky.
experiences.
Yeah, I feel very lucky to be an actor and to be capable of creating emotion in people.
Yeah.
Because it's one of the, it's a very old art form.
Right. Absolutely. Do they not experience TV series, movies, and books and empathize with the characters in their journey? Does no one in your or your girlfriend's circles play video games? Sounds incredibly weird. OP says she doesn't have any guy friends since to her, guys and girls just can't be friends or whatever.
Red flag.
Huge red flag.
Red flag.
There's one friend who is on my side, though, keeps telling me that I have to show her that games are just as powerful as movies.
I said.
Unfortunately, this friend is also really into anime and cosplaying, which for some unexplainable reason puts her beneath everyone else in her friend group's eyes. And the dodgiest Ewok says...
Also, the first one I think was Dad AI Beatnik. Not Dada I Beat Nick.
Dad AI beat Nick.
Yeah,
Dada, I beat Nick.
I thought it was like a mama,
Dada, I beat
I
Nick
killed
now.
I thought it was like a
I'm a
Bohemian Rhapsody kind of
beatnik
thing.
now.
I'm the club baby
beatnik.
beatnik, yeah.
Dada.
There's one more comment before we get into our update. None of these behaviors read chill and down to earth, by the way. And that's it. Now we have got our update.
The update.
Yeah, update. I really hope that he breaks up with her.
Break up with her. Break up with her.
Break up with her. Update. I didn't get much sleep last night, mostly due to the third night on the couch and
Dang.
overall being really frustrated with how I've been treated the past couple of days. But when my girlfriend got up this morning, she had a different energy. It was much earlier than she needed to be up, and she invited me back into the bedroom to rest, and we could talk later if I was up for it. I just told her that we should talk now, since rest would be hard with this heavy burden on my mind. Well, she apologized.
Ooh.
Immediately, she told me how awful she felt for treating me like a cheating boyfriend, and that she had been acting rash and childish out of the fear that I had been falling out of love with her. I was still a little peeved, but I put my anger aside for a while and told her that yes, she totally had been treating me unfairly for the past couple of days. She didn't defend herself very much, and she started explaining her sudden change of heart. This silly argument has been going on since Wednesday night, and in all the free time she's been having away from me, she had naturally been telling her friends and family. My girlfriend is very close with my mother, so she gave her a lot of detail about the whole situation, including the details about the fake girl that had supposedly, quote, captured my eye.
That's not cool.
Well,
I'm sorry, she went and blabbed to everyone about
yeah, literally.
you crying?
I'm really scared that OP's just making excuses. Like, well,
Yeah.
naturally, like, she told everyone because,
No,
like,
that's not natural.
You know, she was off
Yeah.
with people.
When I had like things I was like unsure about with my ex, I would talk to like Sam.
Yeah,
I'd talk to like one
Yeah.
or two people, like my close friends who had
right.
like, ask for advice, but it wasn't like
Exactly.
slamming on him.
Yeah, it's like I get like wanting
Yeah.
to talk to people, and like sometimes multiple people helps, like for some of like getting different perspectives
Yeah.
and stuff, but not just like, oh my god, can you believe that this guy
Can you
was
believe he
sobbing?
cried? It should be like, hey, like this happened the other day, and I'm,
Yeah,
don't know how to really help him, how to approach it. That should be where you're coming from if
Right.
you are in a healthy relationship.
exactly.
Shouldn't be
Exactly.
slam dunking on your partner.
Yeah. Well, her mother told the rest of her family, including my girlfriend's father, and most importantly, her younger brother. Now, as I've noticed from the comments on my previous post, my reaction to this song and this character are far from unusual, and it seems to be much more common experience amongst the gamers who have experienced Final Fantasy VII. Her brother, quickly catching on to the situation at hand, quickly called my girlfriend and started explaining the situation to her. While I was writing my previous post, her younger brother had been coming to bat for me,
Heck yeah.
trying to justify that it truly was just the narrative that had brought me to tears. By the way, I wasn't bawling my eyes out. My eyes were watery, and then there were a few tears and a couple sniffles. Seems like some people thought it had sent me into a weird episode. Regardless, my girlfriend started to doubt herself and did some research online. Well, fans of Final Fantasy VII are quite prolific. So much online discourse talking about this one game had proven my feelings valid enough for my girlfriend, and she had a change of heart sometime overnight. I asked her if there was something that I had done to make her so insecure about our relationship, as some commenters suggested, but she brushed it off and told me that she was just anxious because many of her friends were getting cheated on recently, and she was worried that I was growing distant. After a bit of talking, we came to an understanding that I was simply getting more comfortable, and as the time between my lovey-dovey moments were increasing, she was worried that I was drifting away or possibly falling for another woman. I'm quite glad that this conversation is happening now rather than later, and I now think that we've moved past it. By the way, I hope that you never move past the fact that we've got more full episodes of stories just like this one on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever your favorite podcast app is. Just search OK Storytime. You're going to find them all.
And that's the heckin' truth.
Yes, it is. And there is a little bit more to the story, but Courtney Electra says she has friends. Surprising.
Shocking. But I bet they're all like the friends that are like, oh, he plays video games? Wow.
Yeah, because
That's so nerdy.
and they probably like make fun of the cosplaying. And
Oh my
stuff like
god,
that,
she's
like
a
they said.
cosplayer. That's like
like
so lame. I bet she's
cringe.
got like a
So
furry
freaking
costume or
lame
something.
of her to think, dude.
And then
Cosplay
they go-
stuff is cool.
Cosplaying is cool.
I don't cosplay.
I
That's
wish
like,
I could cosplay.
even though like I make clothes and stuff like that, that's not my thing. But I'm obsessed with watching cosplaying people.
Obsessed.
I think it's so
Obsessed.
satisfying.
I'm
And that one girl that makes the wigs. Oh yeah, there's our tickle bitties. She's hot, man.
Yeah, I
She
can't
looks like
see
a
her.
really calmed down Jinx.
Yeah. She's dyed her hair black.
Yeah,
Estifa.
muted.
Tifa.
But there is a little bit more to this story. I
Okay.
still hope that they break up, not gonna lie. So we compromised, and she promised that if she ever had a problem with my behavior again, she would communicate more directly with me, as well as treat me more like a human being. She also said that she wouldn't mind playing a video game with me, as she was interested in what she read
Yay.
earlier about one Final Fantasy VII game. It seems the comments have also left many suggestions for games to try out. That's very nice. I appreciate all your messages, and perhaps both myself and the commenters were being harsh last night. I think this is the best things could have turned out. Also, she brought me a basket full of different yellow flowers with takeout tonight, and I almost cried again. Haha. Anyways, perhaps that wasn't the ending you guys were rooting for, but I'm glad that this is finally over and my relationship with my girlfriend is still solid, and I have a bed to sleep in tonight. Thank you all for your advice. I appreciate it all. That's the end of that story.
My ex-husband won't allow our daughter to be in my wedding, so I took action.
No wonder he's the ex-husband.
And there is a trigger warning for verbal abuse and mentions of a physical altercation. I need to give some backstory. My husband, 37 male, and I, 37 female, divorced 6 years ago after he cheated on me with a college freshman and left me for her. Wonderful. We have 2 daughters, Emily, 16 female, and Gabby, 8 female. We were happily married for 10 years before everything fell apart. By the way, this comes from user less sentence 4323, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, the divorce wasn't just about his cheating. He said he hated me, that I looked ugly, and made cruel comments about my body that I won't repeat. You can imagine the pain. It gave me serious trust issues that I'm still working through in therapy, but thank God you're in therapy.
We love therapy.
Emily knew why we divorced and resented her father for it, but Gabby was too young to understand. Despite being a terrible husband, he was a good father, so we shared custody. The girls stayed with me Friday through Monday. I tried my best as a single mother, but I would spiral sometimes. I've been in and out of therapy since divorce. 4 years ago, I met my now husband, Ben, 41 male. We worked in the same building, and he found me crying on the office roof on what would have been my wedding anniversary. That same day, my ex had chosen to marry his affair partner. Ben listened to my pain and stayed with me the entire day, even driving me home because I was too emotionally unstable to drive. Ben had lost his wife and only daughter in a car accident 10 years earlier. Oh my God. He was incredibly fond of my daughters. Emily started calling him Dad after a year of dating, and Gabby calls him Daddy Ben. I was finally healing and becoming myself again. We welcomed our son a year ago, and my girls were thrilled to have a brother. Ben proposed while I was pregnant, and we've been planning our wedding since. Emily is one of my bridesmaids, and Gabby is my flower girl. Since Emily is old enough to choose where she lives, there's no custody issue with her. But Gabby still goes back and forth between houses. My wedding is in 2 weeks, scheduled for a Tuesday, which is normally my ex's custody day. Initially, my ex was fine with the wedding plans. I spoke to him multiple times, asking him to drive Gabby to my mother's place, but now he refuses. He says he only gets to see his daughter 3 days a week and won't give up his time for some party. I offered to give him my days for an entire week in exchange, but he still refuses. I can't change the date because everything is already booked. We've argued constantly, and I can't handle any more emotional pain. Gabby would be heartbroken because she's so excited to be the flower girl. Any advice, please? And there are comments. OP, your ex is using your youngest daughter to get to you. It's not about her or the wedding. It's about pushing buttons. He knows how to do it, and he's found one to push. Another commenter has the right answer. I learned it the hard way. In total disclosure, my ex did something similar. I thought she was above that, but she wasn't. My 4 kids didn't go to my wedding to my second and current wife. They hold that against her still 23 years later. Karma sucks sometimes. As a last-ditch effort, contact the attorney you used when you got divorced and see if they will draft a letter to him reminding him that events in parents' lives are usually negotiated between the willing parents
for the good of the children. Maybe a letter will adjust his thinking. If not, I'd follow D-Locator's advice and send a final text, then let it go. I'm not sure how he's going to explain to the youngest why the older can go and she can't, but that's his anchor. And if younger asks you why, tell her Dad's pushing for you to not be there. I want you there. He does not. Firmly point out that this is on him and not you. Congrats on the upcoming wedding. Focus on the day, not the absolute idiot messing with you. And there is an update. Let's hope it's for the best. It's been hectic since my last post. I went to pick up Gabby on Friday, and Emily was furious. She told me that Gabby had been throwing a tantrum because their father lied to her, telling her they would go on vacation on my wedding day. Gabby said no because she was excited to be my flower girl. I was livid. This coward wanted to manipulate my daughter so she couldn't be at my wedding. I stormed into his house with my fiancé Ben and demanded to see Gabby. I told him he was a coward for not being honest about why she couldn't attend the wedding, and that if he didn't tell her the truth, I would. I had screenshots of our messages on my phone. Surprisingly, he caved and told her the truth. Gabby started crying and said she hated him. My ex wasn't having it. He grabbed Gabby away from Ben, calling her a brat who didn't appreciate her dad. I saw red and pushed him away. He called me a witch, and his wife came out trying to handle the situation. A physical altercation broke out between him and Ben. Emily was smart enough to record everything from a distance. My ex kept shouting that he wouldn't let my daughter go with me, but I reminded him this was my custody time. Eventually, he agreed to let Gabby stay with me until after the wedding. I have his messages confirming this agreement. When we got home, Emily asked if we could keep Gabby permanently because she didn't want to live with their dad anymore. When I asked why, she revealed that their father had been increasingly angry since I started dating Ben. At first, it wasn't extreme, but then he began insulting me behind my back, saying I had downgraded by dating Ben. He became even more agitated when he learned I was pregnant, pressuring his wife to have children and causing fights between them. Emily also told me he would lash out at Gabby, scolding her for small mistakes and forcing both girls to call his wife Mom. Emily refused. She said the only reason she ever went back was to protect Gabby, knowing her little sister had to stay there. I cried and asked why she hadn't told me. She said she saw how happy I was with Ben and didn't want to burden me. And open, honest communication is always key in every situation. Never forget that. I never wanted my daughter to carry that weight. While I'm proud of her protective instincts, she should have told me. I'm their mother, and protecting them is my job. I had planned to let Gabby stay with her father during my honeymoon so he wouldn't complain about not spending enough time with his daughters, but now I'm reconsidering everything. I'm really stressed with the wedding next week. And there is a second update. I think you definitely have to bring this information to the courts or whoever authority is saying that this agreement needs to be kept. 100%.
Push for sole custody. If the kid doesn't, I don't know how it would work exactly, how much weight the kid would have on it, because like the parents like agreed to equal custody, so I don't know what that fight would be like. But if the kid is saying it and there's like evidence that the dad is getting more aggressive, is getting angrier, is belittling the mom behind her back, I feel like a good lawyer could get that in their favor.
Update number 2. I took everyone's advice and filed for emergency custody. I contacted a lawyer to pursue full custody of Gabby. Emily is a key witness, and she saved the video she recorded. My lawyer said while I shouldn't have gotten physical with my ex, it could be considered self-defense since he was hurting and scaring Gabby. I was able to get emergency custody quickly. My lawyer believes I have a strong case for full custody given the video evidence and Emily's statement. But I know my ex won't give up easily, but neither will I. I'm postponing my honeymoon until this is resolved. Despite the stressful week, I managed to cheer up Gabby, and my family was incredibly supportive. We did have our wedding, though some of the joy felt stripped away by the drama. Nonetheless, I felt truly special that day. My first marriage was rushed because of an unplanned pregnancy, but this one felt right. I got to wear a beautiful gown and walk down the aisle. My daughters enjoyed it immensely, and I was grateful to have Ben by my side. I'd always worried that no man would want me with all my baggage, but he stood by me through my worst moments. As for my ex, he's a lost cause. He's been sending hateful messages to Ben and me, so we blocked him. 2 days before my wedding, my former in-laws visited. My ex-mother-in-law wanted me to drop the case and not take their grandchildren away from their father. Yeah, shut all the way up with that. Go talk to your son about that. But my ex-father-in-law supported me, saying his own son was a danger to himself and the kids, and shouldn't be allowed near children at all. W. Father-in-law. When my ex-mother-in-law tried to argue, he shouted, "Do you care more about your pathetic son or the safety of your grandchildren?" At least someone understood. My ex's wife has moved out, saying she's too good to be a stepmother to some ungrateful brats. Great. She's still in her 20s, so I understand her perspective somewhat. And by the way, you can understand every perspective under the sun by listening to full episodes with stories just like this one on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and wherever you listen to podcasts. Just search OK Storytime, and you can listen to the full archive. There is a little bit more story left. Honestly, I feel like everything has happened here perfectly. Like you said, the father-in-law, the ex-father-in-law saying that means a lot, and it should really make his own son reflect if he knows that that's being said. But I think there's a great chance that you're getting full custody here and, just leave your ex in the dust where he belongs. Let's finish this story. People have asked why I booked a date that conflicted with custody arrangements. The venue was only available that day. Okay, shut up everybody being like, why did you not plan your wedding around your custody agreement with your terrible ex? It's like, because it's an exception and it should be made. Like, what? It's
Like,
crazy.
What if just that day was special to them in their relationship?
Yeah, just ridiculous. The venue was only available that day, and we'd already postponed once due to my pregnancy. I didn't think my ex would react this way, especially since when he married his mistress, he took our girls out of state for 2 weeks for his destination wedding. I checked with him multiple times before booking, and he was fine with it until 2 weeks before the ceremony. I know people have called me a bad mother for not noticing the problems earlier. I have no excuse. I was so consumed with my new life that I didn't thoroughly check on my girls. My children should never feel that sharing their problems will disrupt my life because their problems are my problems. I apologized to both Emily and Gabby, and they were kind enough to forgive me, but I'll always carry the guilt of not seeing the signs sooner. And that is the end of that story. And you know what? Honestly, I'll give you a little grace there, OP, because kids are really good at hiding stuff. It's kind of their whole job until they get one. Until they get an actual job, their job is to hide everything from you.
And OP already said, like, when they were married, even though he was a terrible husband, he was still a good father to the kids.
Right.
So OP didn't necessarily have any reason to suspect that had changed.
Exactly.
Especially if the kids aren't showing signs or saying anything, or if, like, nothing is physical. Because it seemed like mostly it was just emotional abuse so far.
Yeah. Yeah. I think everything happened at the perfect moment so that it didn't get any worse. My ex-in-laws demand to get our kids together, but I don't wanna. I, 29 female, received a Facebook post from my ex-brother-in-law's ex-wife, and no one's real name was used. So, my ex-brother-in-law, Patrick, 30 male, his ex-wife, Diane, 29 female, and my kid, 10 male, and their kid, 9 male. By the way, this comes from user awkwardrelease8860, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
I'm Angie.
And I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we're not perfect. We don't have all the answers. So keep that in mind as we read what OP says. During the time of them being separated, she and I didn't really talk. She blocked me on Facebook sometime after her mental breakdown since she and Patrick were not getting along. She recently unblocked me and tried to add me on Facebook. I simply deleted the request. No, she did not message me on Facebook after this. Yes, people who are not my friends can still message me. Did not text me. I've had the same number since middle school. None of that happened. She then waits a week after I deleted her friend request and instead comments on my post that she wants me to contact her so the kids can hang out. She also makes a Facebook post asking someone to contact me so the kids can hang out. Not a message, a mass post to her friends asking them to contact me. We have 140 mutuals since we went to the high school together. Yeah, she's crowdsourcing,
Yeah.
like making a play date between your kids. You're just not
Yeah.
interested.
That's so weird. But even though she can just like message you, probably way easier than posting it. Like just be like, hey, can we hang out? That's all she even needs to do if she really wanted to. That's cuckoo.
Yeah, and the answer would still just be no. But I think she probably knows that, which is why she's, I don't know, resorting to trying to get outside pressure
Yeah.
on you.
Yeah.
to
I
do
guess
this.
so.
It seems like she's still very into dramatizing things and putting everyone's business on Facebook. I don't associate with either of them due to this reason, but am I the a-hole for not organizing a meeting for the kids, even though she's not someone that's a good influence to be in mine or my family's life? Story below of both Diane and Patrick's behavior and why I don't want to associate myself or my family with them. Backstory on Patrick. Patrick got cheated on by Diane. He had his friend move in with him who ultimately ended up screwing him over. He then moved in with my ex and me as my ex was his brother and he made the choice. A few months in, Patrick attempted the forever nap but was saved by my ex. I was working.
Oh, wow.
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 That's one way to put that. Patrick stated his brother was just awful and he was sorry I dealt with this for so long. A few weeks after this, my ex was inebriated and yelling, proceeding to break down the bedroom door out of rage.
Oh my God.
Both kids were present, so we packed up minimal items and left. Following this, Patrick and I helped Diane through her dark times so their kid could have a mother still. She made drop-offs and pickups much harder than needed or tried to start some sort of drama while Patrick lived with me. I paid for almost everything when Patrick lived here. Rent, water, extra food, all of my bills. I was a 24/7 single mom because his brother, my ex, was off getting wasted or trying to have girlfriends. So I was going into debt. Patrick would borrow my car sometimes while I was sleeping and not even ask or inform me. Then he'd bring it back and not even put gas in it. This is when gas was $5 a gallon. About a year and 8 months after my ex and I split, I got together with my now husband. He would spend the night over here a few times a week, or I would go over there to hang out. My husband did laundry at my house maybe once a week, as I paid for all the rent and the water used. Patrick got upset that I didn't ask if he could use his washer and dryer. I said I didn't think it was a big deal since I paid for water and all of the rent anyway, but sorry, I'll ask next time. He also lost his temper with my now husband as he asked Patrick's son not to talk to my son while he was eating. I was sick and could barely talk, so he was doing me a solid. Patrick got enraged and yelled about not parenting his kid. Everything went downhill from there. And I basically said he could start paying for rent or he could move out with his girlfriend. And that's what they did. His girlfriend contacted me once to hang out with the kids. I made multiple attempts to get the kids together. They knew my schedule and I informed them to let me know when they could. They only reached out for money or when they wanted something to benefit them. I have not spoken to them for roughly a little over a year. Backstory on Diane. She cheated on Patrick and moved in with her affair partner. She then started having their child call the affair partner dad.
Ah.
Crime.
Yikes.
Crime.
Yikes.
Crime! I call that a crime. You're criming. She also got her own vehicle, which broke down, and she said she needed their car back. She had to refinance it in her own name and got back to it. She eventually got engaged to a affair partner. She left the state with their child to visit family. When she returned, a affair partner had packed up and moved back in with his parents, claiming he still loved her and wanted to be with her, just not living together. She spiraled and wanted to take the forever nap, but Patrick and I helped her through this. She had basically nothing in her fridge for a child to eat and, lots of booze. Eventually, she moved on and moved houses too. After this, co-parenting between Patrick and Diane was toxic. After Patrick moved out from my house and in with his girlfriend, it was still a struggle. On one of the pickups, Patrick refused to give the child to Diane as she seemed under the influence and felt it was unsafe. Diane proceeded to bang on his door in attempts to get the child. She got arrested and they went to court for parenting time. I can only assume they now split custody in a court order. And we have an update.
That was wild. A lot of stuff just happened.
So I think, personally,
yeah.
That's a whole lot to have dealt with and gone through with these two.
Yeah.
Makes sense you don't want to hang out with the kids.
Yeah.
Because if the kids are hanging out, y'all are hanging out in some capacity.
Right.
Right? Like,
yeah, you
that's
have
a
to.
dynamic. That's a relationship.
Yeah. No, I feel like I had friends where it was kind of like, can't really hang out with them that much because like my parents didn't get along with her parents or something like that. That's happened once or something. At least once, you know. But yeah, that's rough.
I posted a mini update yesterday stating that I received a message from Diane's sister that she then screenshotted and shared on Diane's post that I saw her message. I have since blocked them both. Since then, it's been one whole day. Now, Patrick has taken it upon himself to post that he has been biting his tongue for too long and that it's so messed up that he can't have contact with his family
and that his family needs to respect the children's wishes to hang out if they want to. He also claimed he made every attempt to try and reach out before it got to this point. I deleted both Patrick and his girlfriend off Snapchat over a year ago, as neither of them tried to make contact with me. I still had them on Facebook, and again, I still have the same phone number. For the first year after Patrick moved out and in with his girlfriend, I messaged them on Snapchat about trying to plan a hangout and about what hours I worked. I told them to message me when it would work best, since Patrick has a lot of doctor appointments and his girlfriend worked full-time. Patrick got in a bad accident that put him in the hospital, unable to work, over 2 years ago, and he's still unemployed, claiming he's too disabled. But there are plenty of jobs, even if it's just minimum wage, that you can work from home to make money. He has also since gone to a concert, dyed his hair, gone out to places, and it just feels like a lack of trying rather than truly being unable to work. So his girlfriend basically supports herself, him, his kid, her kid, their kid, and a dog. Patrick's mom also lives with them and was working for a while until she had an accident. I've heard from his sister, my ex-sister-in-law, who I am still very much in contact with, and my kid spends the night with as she respects my boundaries. She said that she is also done with his behavior, as she has been for a while now. Anyway, after the first year or so after they moved out, I kept trying to plan something. We met once on Easter because his girlfriend planned it, and the other time I planned it, but it fell through because they had a doctor appointment. I told them to let me know when they could reschedule, and they didn't. His girlfriend would text and guilt trip me on Snapchat about how the kiddos miss my child. Instead of asking to plan a hangout, I would respond with, let me know when you're available, and then get ghosted. So what is the end game for them?
Right.
Like,
What are they trying to do?
dude, is the end game truly just complaining on social media and turning people against OP?
It must be. They like, think about putting their kids in a play date and then sending them off so that they don't have to watch them, and then using like, oh, the kids want to see your kids as an excuse. I mean, I'm making this up. But then, like, immediately when they actually have to put things together and, like, parent and remember that their kids are there and that they have to take care of their kids, then they're like, oh, shoot, actually, I don't really want to put that effort in, and I'm going to ignore that text.
It's just
I
crazy.
don't know if any of that made sense.
It's just crazy to do instead of just setting up the date. You're
Yeah.
now publicly trying to beef.
Right. It's not a hard thing to do. Pick a day. That's all.
Yeah. I would either get ghosted or she would say to reach out to Patrick, which I did, and also would not receive a response. I would have been happy to let the kids hang out. They could have been hanging out this whole time. But I'm not the only one who needs to be putting effort into making this work for the kids. I was tired of helping people and reaching out when they only reached out for money or when they needed something to benefit them. He still fails to reach out and set up anything or put in any effort, and he is always playing the victim. Both Diane and Patrick will fight over text and do not know how to have a conversation without it escalating. I also know that if I were to message them, it would just be a back and forth that would become me saying, this is exactly why I don't want contact. And I don't doubt either one of them would take those screenshots to the internet to blast further drama instead of talking like mature adults. So again, instead of Patrick reaching out to me in any civil adult manner, he also just blasts drama on the internet, just like Diane. I don't want the drama or conflicts involved with either of them, like I explained in my previous post. And yet, it's still here. So am I the a-hole for just blocking him and his girlfriend on Facebook also because of this childish behavior instead of messaging Diane or Patrick first? There's a second update. No!
No,
I would be
absolutely not.
afraid to even leave my kids in the same place as these people.
Yeah, honestly. Yeah, that's always so annoying whenever people talk about your personal drama on the internet. Like, what even is that about? What are you going to get from that?
It's just bleh.
It's blah.
Bleh. Imagine
Like,
your
does
kids are
anyone
hanging
care?
out and then like she goes to your kid and is just like, Mom hates you.
Yeah,
Your mom hates you. She told me she hates you.
I wouldn't put it past her.
And it's like, yeah, she'd be like, well, you deserve that because of you ignored me.
Right.
It's just like,
It's
I don't
just
know
gross.
what you're going to do. I don't know what you're going to say. And I don't want to associate with you. Bye.
Bye. Yeah, I feel like we need to block these people at this point.
Yes.
Block them.
Normalize the
Keep 'em-
ability to just cut people out of your life. Especially when they give you great reasons to.
Yep. Exactly.
Hello! I have blocked both Diane and Patrick on all forms of social media. My friend was also invested in this drama, and Diane's profile is on public, so there's an update. Diane has continued the conversation with her sister on her original Facebook post, now stating that I hate her child, and that she doesn't have beef with me. She said her son is great, but his parents are nothing but drama train wrecks. Every time someone has Patrick or Diane involved in their life,
some sort of drama and chaos follows. Proof in the pudding is that I tried for a year to get the kids together with Patrick and got left on red. I was blocked by Diane until a few weeks ago, so even when you don't associate, they throw you into their drama fest instead of having a mature conversation like an adult. I don't have the mental energy in my life to go back into chaos, especially not after the 7.5 years of chaos with my own ex. And by the way, you can listen to 72 days of wonderful stories just like this one in the full episodes on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and wherever you listen to podcasts that you can find by searching OK Storytime.
Hooray!
You can. I know you can.
I know you can.
There are those who have.
I think I can. I think I can.
Yes.
I can, guys. But I am upset that, I mean, okay, she blocked them all. That's great. But she's still getting involved in the drama, no, even after blocking. But they're not reaching out to her, right? Just to clarify that. They're not still like trying to find ways to reach out. They're just using her name, throwing her name around.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's just on the Facebook post. I think maybe one of them reached out, but it was in like a weird way. Yeah, it's regardless.
Yeah.
You just do not have to
Just walk away. Just
placate
don't even hear
these
about
people.
it.
It doesn't matter what they used to be, the ex-brother-in-laws, ex-wife, ex-whatever, and they have a kid, and then it's like your ex-nephew-in-law, whatever.
Right.
It's not your responsibility or your sacred duty in life to make sure that those two kids have play dates, especially when their parents are actively throwing you under buses.
Exactly.
Yes. Let's finish this story. So here are the comments between Diane and her sister on the post. Diane said she found it funny that I blocked her and that I really don't want anything to do with her kid. Diane's sister said I probably blocked her too after this, and that it's ridiculous keeping the cousins apart. She said it doesn't matter the family drama, that the kids aren't a part of it, and that they should be allowed to see each other. Diane then said that she and I don't even have drama. She doesn't involve herself with my ex's last name and family either, so she doesn't understand why her son has to catch that from me. Not only do they admit that there is family drama, but they continue to create it. Then they wonder why no one wants to be associated with them. And that is the end of that story.
My wife's ex is being pushy, and it's weirding me out.
Push him back.
I, 38 male, love my wife, 37 female, to the ends of time. She's the best thing that ever happened to me, and she's thoughtful regarding my feelings. I also try my best to be thoughtful with her and not controlling or negative. By the way, this comes from Throwing Me, Throwing You, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, when we first met, my wife was in the tail end of a relationship with a guy she'd dated for a couple years. According to her, he avoided spicy sleep with her and often sent mixed signals, but in general seemed to keep her at arm's length. They apparently never slept together, and when they would kiss at the end of a date, it was not romantic or passionate, just a peck. When we first met, she was still dating him, and this caused me some jealousy, but we relatively soon became exclusive. Interesting. She took a while to tell him, which caused me some hurt feelings at the time, but I did my best not to pressure her. I think she just felt awkward. When she did tell him and broke up with him, they had not seen each other for some time anyway. He apparently took it in stride and seemed to not care. Her ex is an interesting guy who runs his own fringe publishing business, which he originally started in order to publish his own books. Books themselves are not very good. Although I'm not a professional author myself, I do think I am a fair judge on this, and they also have a near zero circulation. But he projects success and in the past infected her with dreams of stardom. Support your dreams.
He is an author.
Yeah. So if your wife has dreams of stardom, support her. Come on. It seems he's always pitching scripts to some famous movie house or person, and a blockbuster movie deal is always around the corner. My personal opinion, no one in their right mind would make a movie based on his books, as they're highly derivative and not very interesting, and he's basically been in a seeming holding pattern for 10 years now. The books and movie deals seem like a bit of a pipe dream to me, but people can of course be forgiven for having pipe dreams. My wife's ex in the past year has tried to get her to go on a day trip to a remote wilderness location with him alone, and is always trying to get her to do things related to his publishing business for free. She has in the past helped him by doing some unpaid editing, but this over the past year has morphed into requests for voiceovers, etc. And most lately, a request to edit a screenplay for free. In the past, he has motivated her to do these things with vague promises that she can have a part in one of his unmade future movies and the like. He has also dangled the possibility of accompanying him on a trip to pitch one of his projects. Soon after we met, he did take her on a trip to see him accept a quasi-phony book award where he kissed her in front of his family and otherwise apparently treated her like a goldfish. I'm very confused about this whole situation.
I need time frame.
Yeah.
Because was this
Absolutely.
before you got, like, it seems like what we're getting at is that she went after you guys started dating.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, maybe.
That's what I'm hearing too. Like, I feel like I'm understanding what OP is saying.
Like, we're understanding it, but like, does
But
that make sense?
I just don't know why this is happening. And I feel like what is happening is she never broke up because she broke up with him. Put that in quotes.
Yeah.
I feel like she didn't.
OP, are you the other guy?
I think so because
That's what
I feel like
That's what it sounds like and reads like.
Yeah, I feel like what she's doing is just like, oh my gosh, like, yeah, like we were in this relationship, but he treated me so bad and was like all this. So like, don't feel bad about me cheating on him with you.
Like it's already over, but it's not over.
Yeah,
but it's already
like,
pretty much over. So like we can see each other.
right, but like he just doesn't know that yet. But it's over. When the wilderness day trip came up, I was torn. I didn't want her to feel pressured or to control her, but I wasn't comfortable either. I wound up telling her that, and she gently put him off. He wound up contacting her afterwards that she could change her mind at the last second, which I feel was a bit in poor taste. Recently, my wife's ex posted that she was to be actually doing the screenplay rewrite of his book, even though she hasn't agreed to it, and simply avoiding getting back to him. I told her that I thought she should just decline because in the end, spending a bunch of time doing work for free that he could pay for isn't worth it. She hasn't contacted him about it. In addition, my wife's ex apparently claimed to receive a request from one of his authors that my wife serve as his publicist, even though my wife has never worked as a publicist. What? This feels to me like my wife's ex may be setting up to ask her to go on an unnecessary trip with him. I told my wife I didn't think she should agree to serve as a sham publicist where the ex would actually be doing the work because it would be fraudulent. But I'm wondering how much of this is based on my dislike of the situation. I don't know. I mean, that seems still weird to me, and I'm not in your situation too, OP.
Hey, OP, why? Here's the funky part.
Yeah.
Why is she still in contact with her ex? One.
Yeah.
Two, why is she like, I guess I'll go. I guess I'll do these things with you. Why is she agreeing to these things? And three, why are you not setting boundaries? And I also feel like we had a time skip again. They met, and now she's his wife out of nowhere. There was like, where was? I need a time frame.
Like, how long have her and her wife like been working together after their relationship quote ended? Supposedly.
Yeah. Well, I need, like, this is very weird.
This is very weird. Yeah.
How she's all corresponding to all these things that her supposed ex wants.
Yeah. Like what? I'm never too much of a wuss to put my foot down, tell the guy to shove off, etc. And I'm in no way threatened by this guy. I don't want to come off as controlling with my wife, though. She sees him as harmless and possibly in the past, he seemed to treat her as a romantic non-entity except when around his family. To me, especially now that we're married, that doesn't quite explain everything. I don't understand why he seems to want to impress her when they've broken up. Am I out of line for feeling weird about all of this? If the ex does invite her to another trip, I will probably tell her I'm not comfortable on the basis of him pushing the boundaries of good taste, not because I don't trust her, but am I being a wiener? And should I let this guy have his harmless daydreams and involve my wife this way? P.S. I trust my wife completely. There is no chance she is cheating with him or intends to, and there are some comments, but I don't trust your wife. We'll say that.
I don't trust this guy.
Comment number 1 says, what does she say about him? Does she think he's a pipe dreamer with unrealistic expectations of his success? Does she work in any slightly related field to publishing? Does she want to go on these trips? Lots of questions, because you've not mentioned what she thinks about any of this. OP responds, she's told me at times that she knows he won't hit it big and that she feels like he's not a very good writer, but that it's always nice to daydream and that she considers him harmless. She doesn't work in an even slightly related field. She didn't seem beaten up by not going on the wilderness thing, but did ask what I'd think if he hypothetically asked her to accompany him on a publishing-related trip. Hypothetically. I feel like he already invited her.
No is a perfect way of responding. I don't understand why it's so hard to say No.
Yeah, I would think that's weird. I think it's weird. I said I'd be uncomfortable, especially since the whole thing seems a bit of a sham. She says she likes his family and had fond memories of when she and his family would get together, and his family are also in publishing related fields, so his family members might go on these trips. This is all just so suspicious. Like, it feels so backwards to read all this.
Yeah, okay, we're both, and we always get these where it's like,
yeah, right? It's like, huh?
huh? What is that? What?
'Cause
Narrator, OP, what are we doing?
yeah,
I feel like everything's nonchalant. Like, this all makes sense, right? I'm like,
right. Like, no.
2
no.
plus 2 equals 4, but 2
Yeah.
plus 2 minus 2 plus 8, and now we're at the answer, but
Yeah.
we're missing context
'Cause
here.
it's like, we hear what you're saying. You're saying things very clearly.
We question it after
but-
every paragraph. It's like,
yeah.
so you said this is what's happening, and we're like, yeah.
Yeah. Like, the fact that OP is just, like, confidently saying these things and just being like, yeah, that's, like, normal. That's, like, what she says. And not thinking that that's, like, a clear lie. Like, she's just really close to his family. Like, how many families of your exes are you still super close with?
None.
Yeah. Like, enough to still hang out with your ex and go on trips just because his family might be there?
Did they break up? I
don't
need
think
to
they
know.
did.
That's the thing. I don't think
That
they
is
broke
so
up.
crazy. He is too accepting of all of this.
OP, are you being played right now?
I absolutely think he is. My goodness. So someone responds, so when she hasn't been paid for, presumably, and the movies have not materialized, what does this make you think? That she's bored of broken promises and won't work for free? I don't think you even have a problem. She's not bothered about trips. She doesn't want to do things for him. She says he's harmless and possibly... what are you worried about exactly? Opie says she was ambivalent about editing his screenplay, but wasn't looking forward to the time drain. He didn't break any promises. He just made vague, grandiose predictions of future success in which she'd be included if it ever panned out. I'm not worried she'd cheat on me, but I don't like the pushiness and the continued attempts to impress her. It feels improper and like he should have given up by this point. Whether he has some sort of spicy sleep problem or a different orientation or not, he is, to some degree, pursuing her. Or that's how it feels. Someone responds, he sounds like, for want of a better word, a loser. And null. I suppose it's slightly unusual that your wife still has any sort of friendship with him after all this time, but it really seems harmless. There is an update. So my wife's ex has now posted on social media again with a full face shot of her and another old one of her playing in a band, saying that she plays as a musician in multiple venues, getting some of the details wrong, and basically presenting her as a member of his business. He then commented with alter ego accounts, as he often does, saying how cool that is, etc. That's crazy. He's making fake accounts to comment on his own posts. That's wild.
This guy's a dreamer. That's
Yeah,
for sure.
for sure.
I don't like this.
I don't like this. So we've got some selected history here. They used to date for a couple of years up to when she met me. They apparently didn't do much together and never slept together. I don't believe that. He has written a few pulp science fiction books and talks constantly of Hollywood stardom, which he's been doing apparently for 10 plus years. He presents himself as a major author, though apparently less than a couple of dozen people, including family members, have read his books. He has his own small publishing business, which seems to be a one-man shop, though it's hard to tell. He had my wife do some editing for him for free years ago, but still, I believe, presents her as a publicist, she isn't one, and submissions editor, posing as her via email, etc. He has multiple online accounts that he uses to puff up the apparent size of this business. He's told one author recently that she would be the publicist for his book. Again, she is not a publicist and never agreed to this. He's continued to pump her up with dreams of stardom since we've been together, including promising her a place in his movie to be produced by Peter Jackson, which will never happen. Saying,
This is one of the craziest stories I've ever heard.
This
What is
so
going on?
wild.
This guy's a scam artist. Who is
Literally.
funding this, by the way?
So he'll also promise that he will take her on trips to promote whirlwind deals, etc. In reality, all that's happened is that he drove himself to a major city to drop off a script somewhere. It feels to me like he's stepping up contacts via Facebook. For example, he announced grandly recently that she would be finishing his screenplay that he was too emotionally invested in to edit. After rewriting the book several times over the 10 years and doing the screenplay himself. She never agreed to do this. And by the way, I hope you can agree to go find more full episodes of stories just like this one on your favorite podcast app, whether that's Spotify, iHeartRadio, or Apple Podcasts. Just search OK Storytime. You're going to find all of it there. But, oh my lord.
My brain cannot process.
Yeah, it feels like OP is like seeing all this stuff happen, but he's not actually like with his wife. Like it feels like he's hearing 5% of the story, and then we're getting 2% of that 5%.
Thank you.
Like,
that's what it feels like.
That's what it feels like. Because she should, like, if she didn't agree to it, she should be mad, right?
Why? Yes, thank you. Why does she keep saying yes to all of these things?
I don't know. I don't get it. There is a little bit more. I hope we have answers.
We're probably gonna have more questions.
Yeah, it's what's gonna happen. Let's be realistic. So, I talked about this with her yesterday and this morning, telling her that I'm uncomfortable, but not because I think she'll cheat with him or anything like that. I feel like he's being inappropriate. She said she feels like it's normal behavior for him, but I told her that I didn't think that most people would find this normal behavior, and it's pushy in my opinion. She got defensive and huffed out of the house. Am I out of line? I deactivated Facebook, so this won't get my goat for now. I don't want to be unfair to my wife as I love her deeply. I just feel like I'm taking crazy pills since she doesn't see any of this as weird. I guess in the end, if she doesn't want to do anything about it, I don't really want to pressure her, but I do at least want to know what others would think or do in my place.
Okay, so
I'm taking crazy pills for sure.
Yeah.
I stopped doing favors for my ex because he refused the only one I asked for.
I only asked you this one time, and you can't do it.
Can't do it. Just can't do it. This is kind of sweaty, but my 30 female, ex-husband Greg, 38 male, and I have 2 kids, Louisa, 9, and Ted, 7. We divorced over 5 years ago and co-parent very well. The divorce was because I was happy with our 2 children, but he wanted more, and even therapy didn't help. We've had basically no issues. There's no child support, we're 50-50, have never had issues having the kids if the other parent has something come up, and understand that it's just about making sure their lives aren't too disrupted. And by the way, this comes from Life of the Party XO, and if you want to submit your own stories, just go to the r/storytime subreddit and go from there. So, Greg remarried Tessie, 38 female, 4 years ago, and they have another child, a boy, and another about to make their appearance in the world in a few weeks. I am marrying my fiance, Luke, 36 male, in February. We've been together for about 3 years, and he's known my kids for 2. We moved in together last year. We have a group chat, but aren't overly friendly or anything. We only talk about the kids and keep it pretty lighthearted. Our only rules with the other dating is that we would introduce our partners to the other before they met the kids, which went great with both of them. When Tessie and Greg married, I obviously kept the kids an extra week for their honeymoon and scheduled for my actual week so they could settle in. They didn't live together before they got married. When they had their first baby, I kept our kiddos for about a month, but brought them over for a few times to see their new brother, obviously, so they could settle in since it was Tessie's first baby. A few weeks ago at one of Lacey's games, Tessie told me the date her C-section was scheduled for, which was in the middle of their custody week. I told her we were excited for both of them, and of course I could keep them that week and my following week, and we could go back to normal their next custody period. She kind of hemmed and hawed and asked if we could keep them for another custody week to give them a month again to get used to things. I said that was fine. I didn't expect them to need that much time for their second baby, but C-sections are major surgeries, and I said I'd be happy to keep the kids. They don't live far from us, so bringing them over to hang out won't be too out of my way, and of course I love having my kids with me. Anywho, we've finalized our plans for our honeymoon, which is 3 weeks. I know it seems excessive, but it's something on both our bucket lists, but not something the kids would be too interested in, and the honeymoon seems like the best opportunity to do it. Basically, what would happen would be that we'd get married on Saturday, my week, the kids would stay with Greg that night and stay for his week, then they would keep them for our week and their next. So they'd have them for one of my custody weeks plus one extra evening. I don't have family around. My parents passed away young. Grandparents before them, and the aunt and uncle who helped raise me retired to New Mexico, a 3-hour plane ride, and a 2-hour drive at minimum. I have friends who have watched the kids before, but I didn't see a single issue with asking Greg to keep them for a week since it seems like there's a bit of a precedent. I texted him the general plan and emailed him a more detailed one with locations, dates, times, etc., so he could know where we were and how to contact us if there was an issue. I thought all was well and good, but they never responded until a few days later. They emailed me what Luke and I jokingly now refer to as the manifesto.
Oh, man. It's just like, give them an inch and they take a mile. Classic.
Especially after they've given you the mile before.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you had to take care of the kids, not that you didn't want to, but for a month, and they won't take, like, what, an extra week in a day?
Yeah, it's just kind of like a, can't we all just work together here?
It was long, rambling, repetitive, and still somehow partially written by ChatGPT. The gist of it was, what kind of mother goes on a 3-week vacation without her kids? I'm a terrible person in general for asking a young mother to have her stepkids full-time for 3 weeks while I go and enjoy myself. They/she kept calling Tessie a young mother. I think she means mother of young kids, and I know it's not the point, but it also kept annoying me. Also, it wouldn't be alone with her. Greg would obviously be there. I am a horrible co-parent for asking them to have the kids for 3 straight weeks while their kids are so young. Their newest baby will be 6 months old by then, by the way. Let's not forget these are also Greg's kids, too.
Yeah, these aren't just strangers' children. They're your children. They're your children.
Apparently, it's all well and fine that Luke and I don't want any more kids. He has had a vasectomy and known he didn't want kids of his own for a while. But we'd better not think that gives us permission to dump Louisa and Ted on them to gallivant around. I don't think I've ever gallivanted in my entire life. We needed to figure our own weeks out ourselves. This was not life or passing. It was ridiculous to ask them. I got petty after this, especially them acting as if we were constantly dumping the kiddos on them. So I went through the last 4 years of texts and made a spreadsheet of how many times either of us has asked the other to keep the kids and the duration on an Excel sheet. Oh, you know things are about to go down when you break out the spreadsheets.
We're breaking out the spreadsheets. We're about to get the receipts going.
While we both have made these requests, they have done so for 87 nights, 52 times, versus me, 12 nights, and 8 times. Obviously, this makes sense since they have a baby, and I didn't send it to them or anything, but it was just good to know that I'm not crazy. My friends say I should tell them that, fine, I won't keep them during their custody time after their new baby comes. I'm not going to do that. I love my kids and want to see them as much as I can. But I do a lot extra for them, and just some examples. I, sometimes Luke, if he's off work, pick up the kids every single day after school, and on Greg's custody weeks, I drop them off at their house since he doesn't get off until 5, so that Tessie doesn't have to take the baby out to pick them up. Keep in mind, she does not work anymore. Our divorce decree says that whoever's week it is must drop off the kids at the other parent's house. But I've been doing all of the back and forth for a while again because they have a kid and because it's not that far. A 5-minute drive, a 20-minute walk if it's nice. I take the kids to all of their appointments, do all the school parent stuff during the day and etc. since I have a super flexible schedule and Greg's isn't. He would need to use PTO for all of this stuff. We usually split health insurance per the divorce decree. They're on his work insurance, but since I take them to all their appointments, etc., I pay all of the copays. I keep a tally just in case I would end up owing him money, and I know what he pays towards the premiums. And in the past, it was minimal, but our daughter unfortunately has type 1 diabetes, which has gotten pretty expensive. It wasn't unaliving me, but Greg mentioned how tight money was once I was bringing it up, and I decided that it's not affecting my life. Our daughter needed it, so I've been letting it go. Their son has been in the process of being diagnosed with autism and has pretty bad meltdowns. This is all I know from Greg. So they call me pretty frequently to see if I can come and get the kids for a few hours if things are overwhelming. Of course, I love my kids and spending time with them, but I've had to cancel plans for this and they have not cared. Greg was in an accident and has been using my old car. I got a new one and hadn't sold the old one yet. It's not worth a ton or anything. For the past 7 months, with no effort to replace it. By the way, you don't have to worry about replacing anything when you listen to full stories and full episodes of OK Storytime on the any podcast platform you like. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, something newfangled. I don't know. There'll probably be more in the future.
They're out there.
There's an update, but what are we feeling so far? I am not getting the good feelings about this man.
I think it's, to me, it's kind of fair. It's like, I don't know. I think they just need to recognize that you've, done stuff for them. But they do have like, an infant baby and like a special needs son. And it's like, that's a lot. But at the same time, it's not like on OP or your ex-partner to like pick up that slack. And like, it's not absurd to be like, okay, you can watch your kids for 3 weeks. Like, I know you've got a lot going on, but guess what? It's like everyone has a lot going on.
It's also like they're your kids and you have another kid you're going to have to care for your entire life.
Right. It's like they're not going anywhere, so you might as well.
Yeah.
I mean, for 3 weeks, it's not 3 months, it's not 3 years, it's 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I think the core is just that it's like the good nature is not being reciprocated.
Right. It's an unequal agreement, and it's not, especially what the divorce decree has stated, it's not being honored largely on Greg's part.
Yeah.
Greg travels sometimes for work, and Greg and the kids, have a cat over there. Normally, Louisa would take care of the litter box if Greg was traveling, but since her diagnosis and until we get her labs and health under some form of control, we both agreed that we don't want her messing with it. They let the cat go outside during the day. Since Tessie has been pregnant, she said she shouldn't have to, and Ted is a little young. He tried, failed, and now he helps. Lol. So I've been doing it. Anyway, these are all benefits for them that I'm going to inform them are ending. I won't go back on my word since I have the kiddos after she has her C-section, but the absolute gall of them to not do the one thing I have asked of them and that I've done for them has brought me to this. Most of my friends say I'm not going far enough, but a few have said it might cause a breakdown in our co-parenting relationship, which would affect the kids. That's really the only thing I care about, so now I'm hesitant. And that's the end of it, but what do we think about
Honestly, I think that's
extending?
entirely up to him from the sounds of it. It sounds like you're not going to blow up the co-parenting situation. You're just like, okay, then I guess I'm going to abide by the guidelines in our decree.
Right.
If you're going to be like this has happened with me with like roommates before, where it's like, I'll be like, hey, like we'll be super chill. Like we don't have to be like super, like anal about, every detail of like what's fair and what's not. It's like, we'll split the bills. We'll do this. We'll do that. And then it's like, all it takes is one moment of someone being like, well, actually this. And then it's like, oh, so we're not actually cool, huh? All right. I guess we're going to have to move about this like we're no longer cool. It doesn't mean that I'm going to like kick you out or like immediately like find someone to replace you. But it's like, I'm not going to be a sweetheart anymore. And I'm not going to just be cool. I'm like, all right, if that's how you feel about it, then let's figure out exactly what is, what do we need to be doing? What have we all agreed upon?
My wife invited her ex to my birthday party without asking me.
I'm uninviting you to my birthday party.
I'm 29 male and my wife is 30 female. We have been together for 5 years. We met each other during a seminar and we clicked and started dating and eventually got married.
Ooh.
My wife already had told me that she was in a very serious relationship with her school friend. It was one of her female friend's brothers. They were planning on getting married, but she fell out of love with him and they broke up when he went for education and a job in a foreign country and hasn't met him for the past 9 years. By the way, this comes from Throwaway29. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, enough backstory. 5 days ago, it was my birthday. We wanted to do something special, so we were planning for it for a month. We were on a tight budget as well, so we discussed on who we were inviting. Basically, we agreed on both of our families are invited, even extended, and some of our neighbors and our friends and colleagues. Only those we know, though. On that day, I didn't know if my wife invited her ex as well, which was a shock to me. When I saw him, I was really shocked. I called my wife to meet me upstairs. I asked her what he's doing here. She said he came with her sister. I said we will have a discussion later.
Yeah, why wouldn't she have said that? Like, hey, my ex is going to be here.
With your sister? Are him and the sister together, or?
Very good question.
On my party, I saw him hugging my wife, and he greeted and hugged me as well. He's just hugging everybody.
He's hugging everybody.
We talked just as formality, and my wife was spending time with her friends, and he also joined, I guess, because he's from the friend circle. Anyway, after the party, I confronted my wife and asked her what she was thinking. She asked me what? I asked her why was her ex here when I never met him before, and why did you not tell me? She said he came back for a few months on holidays, and her friends told her and urged my wife to invite him.
It's like the thing is that she totally could have invited him if she had told her partner about this. Like literally just say, hey, I found out my ex is in town. I haven't seen him in 9 years. Is it okay if he comes to the party?
It's a few words there. I counted 13.
Yeah.
I told my wife that she should have discussed this with me. It's my birthday party, and I should have the right to decide who joins and who doesn't. And it isn't just some random guy. It's your ex. She said it wasn't that big of a deal. It was only for a few hours. She said she didn't tell me because I would object it because she knows me. And she wanted all of her friends to be invited. So she knew he was going to say no.
She knew you were going to say no. She wants all of her friends to be invited to your birthday? It's your birthday.
I completely lost my crap when she said that. So I said, you choose your friends over your own husband? I said in my anger, does she have any idea how it feels to see your partner's ex on your special day, especially when it's for the first time?
Yeah. And you didn't know?
Would you like it if I invite my ex to your birthday party without telling you and my ex is hugging me and laughing with me? Would you be okay with it? It was supposed to be my special day, and you ruined it by inviting your ex. Okay. Ruined it.
Well, yeah. I mean, potentially dramatic. However, I still think he's 100% in the right. She absolutely should not have invited the ex without asking him.
Yeah.
And then kind of downplayed him. But like, it's not a big deal. It's a big deal to him.
If it was that big of a deal to me, I would go up to the ex. Thanks for coming. I would like it if you left.
Well, it seems like he didn't want to create a scene. Because he went up to her.
Pull him aside.
We're gonna talk about this later.
Pull him aside.
Yeah.
I was constantly thinking about how he did you for years, and God knows what he actually did to you.
Okay, well, dude, that was a little weird.
You could have kept that to yourself. Would I be thrilled to see a man who effed my own wife on my special day? It would be one thing if it were on friendly terms and we knew each other. If he was my bro, it'd be different. If we were Eskimo bros, we'd be totally different. She started sobbing, said I'm blowing it out of proportion, and it's not that serious. And I'm hurting her with my words. We aren't talking to each other for the past couple of days. She told her parents and sister, and they said that I'm overreacting and it's not that big of a deal. I simply told them that if I invite one of my exes on her birthday party without telling her, would she like it? They said that I would just be taking revenge. I said I wouldn't hurt her, but she should have thought multiple times and discussed with me. And just simply have thought that it might hurt me.
And then listen to him when he said it did hurt him.
So am I the a-hole here?
No, she's the a-hole.
Yeah.
Not only did she not tell you that he was coming, she just will not listen to you after you say, hey, didn't appreciate that. She could have just said, oh my God, I really didn't think it was going to be that big of a deal, but I'm so sorry. I'll make sure in the future, I'll always ask you in these situations.
You smell that?
What?
An old candle rekindling.
Ooh, little flame starting up.
Smells like rosemary. Maybe even
yum.
lavender.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't trust that anyone in this story. She's making excuses. Her family's making excuses for her.
I don't think, like, what is the ex doing there? I bet he has the best intentions.
Yeah.
Right? After 9 years.
Suspicious.
He's probably like, man, babe, like, come back with me. I can take it to my foreign land and you'd be living like a queen.
Yeah, sure, right.
Update. First of all, I thank everyone for their advice. I tried my best to not overthink, but after reading the comments, I couldn't brush off the feeling that something is wrong here. I tried so hard to deny it, but I just couldn't because she didn't really apologize. You're right. You're
she never
right.
apologized.
I went to my wife today and asked her to unlock her phone and give it to me.
I mean, yikes, but like at least you're not snooping through it.
There's probable cause here.
Well, it's not even that.
Is
It's
there
just
enough
like
probable cause here?
I'm just glad that he's not like doing it secretly.
Secretly.
Yeah.
She asked me multiple questions like it was an interrogation or something. Like, why do I want to check her phone? Or do I not trust her? Or did I go crazy because of my jealousy? And many more. But the more I think about it, the angrier I get. She, after pressuring her for a while, gave me her phone. I checked her texts, social media messages, but couldn't find anything at all. So I went to her group text chat and found out that my wife and her ex met each other alone quite frequently ever since he came back.
Ooh, big old lie. Big old lie.
And he was also invited whenever she went out with her friends. But she never told me.
Crazy that she would have gotten away with this had she not invited him to your party.
Yep, like we said, criminals are dumb.
Yeah. Well, I just want. I'm wondering if she like wanted to get caught. Like what?
Yeah, the thrill. It's cheating.
I mean, yeah. She was meeting with her ex-boyfriend for a while without letting you know.
I could get, if I haven't seen my ex that I thought I was going to marry one day and we ended things amicably, I could get maybe asking my wife, hey, do you mind if I go meet them in a
Totally
group
different.
for coffee?
Yeah, in a group session, a group kind of situation. Yeah, totally different. If she had asked OP.
If you grew up as like family friends and things like that, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
This though,
Alone, without your partner's knowledge.
out with your friends and her friends didn't say anything.
Suspicious.
Your friends didn't say nothing.
And then your friend tells you to invite him to his birthday, to Opie's birthday.
And you get so comfortable that you actually do it.
Yikes.
She's just flaunting her stuff, dude.
Yeah, she's like, well, it's gonna come out eventually. Might as well kind of
Speed up the
streamline
process.
this. Yeah.
I asked her what this is. She asked me, what?
What? He's like, you meeting up with your ex? She's like, no, I didn't. He's like, I literally, I see things that say you met up with them. No.
No habla español. No habla inglés.
Mm-mm.
Oh man, I said that wrong.
She
Sorry.
doesn't speak English or Spanish. She speaks no language.
I asked her, why did you meet him alone? And why did you never tell me about any of this? Why did you not tell me that you and your friends invited your ex and you all hung out together? My wife said it's not what I think it is. She said it's not just her ex, but a longtime friend. They've known each other for years, even before she met me. And I'm just being jealous, controlling man. And there's nothing suspicious other than we just met and hung out.
Yeah, and didn't tell your partner?
There's a lot of things you can do when you meet and hang out.
Didn't tell your partner? Suspicious.
I said, I love and trust you, but do not take me for a fool. There's no reason for you to be alone with your ex, and behind my back especially. I don't even know who the F this guy is, who the F he is even, and why is he talking to my wife behind my back? And why is my wife meeting him and my own wife defending her ex? I said I'm leaving, and we are getting a divorce. Whoa.
Dang, that was
Boom, boom, boom.
that was quick.
I would think a separation, perhaps.
I thought there was gonna be like maybe a little bit more conversation, but I guess not.
Is this enough evidence for a cause of divorce?
I don't know. I guess for OP it is.
I would need to know if they did anything physically and emotionally.
I would want to have like more conversations of like, why didn't you not tell me this? But it feels like maybe he's asking about it and she's like playing dumb and he's like, I'm sick of this, divorce.
Yeah, because if your relationship's been going downhill for a while and you've
Yeah.
noticed some things change within the past past month.
Yeah.
My wife started crying, said I don't trust her, and it's not what I think it is. I wanted to calm her down, but I just started walking to the door. My wife held me and got angry and said we can talk and fix the misunderstanding. But I said, I'm not ready to talk, and I'm running out of patience, so please just let me be. And if she wants to be with him, I wouldn't object, and I will pray for a happy life for you. I went to live with my sister for a bit. I told her everything that happened. I must have ranted for a long time. She just listened and said nothing. But in the end, she said my wife is definitely hiding something, and my suspicion is correct. She hugged me, consoled me, and I was drowning in my own thoughts. And my sister noticed it, I guess. My sister said that if she can feel it, that I want to cry. And if I want to, I can cry on her and vent to her instead of bottling it up inside. And she herself started crying. Oh.
They care about you. Cares about you.
To be honest, I really do. But I'm too proud to show the weaker side of me, and I have come here on the internet anonymously. I did so much for my wife. She always threw lavish parties, but when I wanted to do the same after years, she betrayed me in the worst possible way. Okay, I don't know if this is about the party anymore. Dude, low-key, he's probably just still upset about this party.
Yeah, he's just like, my party was supposed to be really cool, and she ruined it, and I'm divorcing her because of it.
She cheated.
Just ruined my birthday.
Oh, man. There were 1,000 different ways to hurt me. She chose the worst way to hurt me. Here I am, drinking and thinking about what went wrong and where I was lacking and living with my sister like a loser in his 30s. Dude, he's taking the hard route here.
Yeah, I do. Okay, I don't think that he is necessarily wrong for divorcing her. I think that's his right. Like, she has betrayed his trust.
Yep.
I do think he could ask a couple more questions. I feel like
get curious about the situation.
Yeah, like she was like, I can explain, and he was like, nope, bye. Like, they're married. At least like talk about the situation. I don't know. Like, if we had confirmation that she had cheated on him emotionally, physically, or whatever, like we had confirmation that they were seeing each other and were in love, blah blah blah, then I'd be like, yeah, leave. But I feel like maybe just have one conversation where you guys are a little bit like emotionally kind of more chill. And then after that conversation, if you're like, yep, she has either continued to lie to me or she tells me the truth and it's that she's been cheating on me, then you get go.
Oh, man. I would need more evidence.
Yeah, I would just want a little, like, I don't even know if it's evidence. I just would want to have like one more like proper conversation before I went through this.
Yeah. Do they have kids?
No.
They don't? Okay. Well, that's good. Update 2. I'm sorry if this is too long. I'm just suffering and overthinking so much I can't even think properly, but I try my best to keep it as short as possible. So we get a summary here. Now, yesterday, my wife called me and asked to meet me. I said no and told her, say whatever she wants on the phone. She could not possibly have chosen a worse time to call and piss me off. I was wasted and crying as heck. Though I do not blame her because it was only 11 o'clock in the morning.
Ooh.
Hey, sometimes you got to get the day started early, you know?
Ooh.
You know what I mean? My sober friend.
Yikes.
She started off with saying she's sorry and will do anything to win me back. And she swore she didn't talk to him until he got back. And her friends introduced me to her again, which led to reminiscing. She proposed to me that we should get back and fix our marriage. And she promised me that she will never talk to him again. We should move to a different state and live our life and forget whatever happened. Now, I really wanted to just forgive her and divorce her and didn't want to expose her. But this pissed me off. I started calling her so many names, cursed her like it's rainfall, and everything I held up inside of me came out. I called her a lying, cheating, manipulative witch. Even after all this I did for you, you want to isolate me from my family and have me in your purse? I worked so hard for you, sacrificed everything for you, and you are with your ex? Effing him just because I loved you and took...
Do we have confirmation that they were effing?
And you took advantage of me? Yeah, I don't know. I swear to the heavens above, even if I go broke, start begging on the street, I will expose you and divorce you. If it was something else, I would have forgiven you in a heartbeat. But you are with your ex-fiance while I'm working for you and giving you most of my money, which made you think I'm a pushover? Wait, I need to understand the working dynamic here. Is she a stay-at-home mom?
Oh, they're not parents. So
She's a stay-at-home wife?
I don't really know, but like,
this is what it sounds like.
I feel like he's making a lot of, I don't know.
He's hurt right now.
He's hurt.
He's hurt big time. I hung up on her after ranting and she was crying. I'm done with her and her BS. I immediately told everyone what's going on, which I think after getting cheated on is a smart thing to do because you don't want her to start spreading her rumors.
Sure. I do think that like, it seems like he's kind of implying that he does have confirmation that she cheated. In which case, like, definitely divorce her. But I feel like she hasn't said that yet, but maybe he's just assuming.
Yeah.
She's definitely at least emotionally cheated, though.
Which is much too embarrassing for her. I told them what I saw on text, and many of her family members, mostly cousins, called me and reassured me that they will help me. They said they were as shocked as I was when they saw him, and that they could see it on my face, but they didn't say anything. But they will help me. Except her mom. She's even worse. She started saying in our family chat that I am lying and being jealous and ruining her daughter's life in many, many more ways. Her father called me and said he was sorry, and he knows that I'm not lying, and he's disappointed with how my mother-in-law and wife are acting. But he said he has to take his family side. But he will stay neutral and won't help me legally, but I said I understand.
It seems like she did physically cheat on him. Which in that case, you got your proof. It seems like everyone's kind of on your side.
Would going on a date with your ex be physically cheating?
No, but it is
You're
emotionally.
physically there.
Physically, no, but it's emotional cheating. It wasn't clear what they were doing on those dates, which is why I was like, oh, maybe have that conversation. But it seems like everyone's pretty clear on what was happening. So like, yeah, leave her. And get therapy, because you seem really, really in a bad place.
Yeah. My sister hugged me when I told her what I said. She hugged me for what I think is like 10 hours. She cried and said that she had failed as a sister. She should have run background checks on her instead of trusting her and kept kissing me.
What? No, you shouldn't have. Who does that?
Run
What
background
would you
checks.
even have found? What would you have found in the background check? She cheated on her partner. You can't find future cheating on a background check.
I think this is an older sister. You know, just sister. I don't know. I'm assuming older sister.
She's, I don't know what.
Whenever you get your heart broken, whenever you
she's
see
I
like
should
a
have done a
sibling's,
background check.
whenever you see a sibling's heart broken, you're like, I wish I could have done
Wish I could
something
have
to,
done
to
something.
prevent this.
Yeah, sure.
I said it's not her fault. She told me that next time she will find a very good woman for me. She will hook me up with one of her friends, and women will be lining up for me for how good of a man I am. That even though I'm suffering so much, I still wanted to defend my wife, which is rare. I don't know if that's true, or if she's just
Definitely did not want to defend his wife. I mean, like,
little
fair.
part of them probably did, but
I mean, it's fair, but like, he definitely was like, she's hawk, she's a bee. I'm exposing her. I don't know if that's defense.
there's a little guy, and I'm like, but she's your wife. That's probably what he's talking about.
Sure.
I don't know if that's true, or she was just comforting me. But dating or getting remarried is the least of my concern.
Yeah, buddy, take some time.
I'm just glad my sister was with me, helping me. Otherwise, I wouldn't be typing here. My sister said that she already had talked to a lawyer, a very good one, and she's her friend, but didn't tell me because I wasn't in the right place. Told me that in our country, there's a mandatory year cool-off period and mandatory counseling at least 2 times a month. And if I don't appear for counseling, the judge might think I'm being unreasonable. And since I have no proof of her affair, divorce might even take years or even a decade. And even if we prove her infidelity, she will get alimony because cheating doesn't revoke her rights from alimony from her husband in our country, which pissed me off even more. But what I'm glad of is that my sister said her friend has a loophole. She will charge us a very huge amount, and considering how many months or years we might fight and sessions, it will drain 90% of my money.
Ooh, wow.
Oh my gosh. And she will either give us back later or give us cash if needed. I'm so glad I have a sister who loves me so much and is so smart and surrounds herself with people like herself. But I'm in the pain.
I just think it's funny because he's like, yeah, my sister found this great solution where I have to pay like 90% of my funds.
Well, she said she'd pay for it.
Oh, okay. That's something.
Pay for it upfront in cash. But the pain I'm feeling is not going anywhere and going to stay with me for a long time. And the worst part, even if you drink all day, you will keep overthinking unless you drink till you pass out.
Oh boy, you need to get some therapy big time, bud.
Or just keep drinking till you pass out.
No.
I don't know. He seems like he got a solution here.
Terrible advice. Man.
Dude.
I mean, just think it like, good riddance to your wife. Cheated on you. Please get some therapy. Get some help. You have a support system in your family. Focus on that. And take some time for yourself.
Does it seem a little too soon? Like, maybe should he separate and see this? Because
I think he's already past that. I think
Yeah.
he's like full convinced that she is cheated. I do really want to, like, I do think that she's probably has cheated emotionally at the very least. But I do want to hear, like, what her explanation would have been. Like, I want to hear what her excuse was.
Yeah.
Because I feel like we never heard her say, oh, I didn't do that. So either she did it and she just didn't want to lie anymore, or, you know, try and defend herself with lies. But
Evidence. Pro evidence. Edit. Thank all of you for your help and time. So glad your well wishes, and I hope that none of you go through what I went through. I wish you all good luck. I will start focusing on myself and go to sleep. Stop drinking and start thinking about my future. Wait, what are you doing after this?
I don't know. Why?
Because you should listen to OK Storytime on your favorite freaking podcast platform. All you got to do is go to Apple, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and search up what, Sophia?
Okay, story time.
And that's what she's going to do after this one. Just like you should.
You were going to invite me somewhere.
To what? To listen to OK Storytime with me. We can go anywhere. We can literally go in the car, go to the grocery store, listen to OK Storytime.
Okay, story time.
Just like you can. Everyone, you right there. You. Yes. What do you think? Please put in the comments.
Yeah.
Should hear her out a little bit?
The thing is, though, he's already, like, long gone. He's already, like, divorced. We're in the process. Blah, blah, blah. Bye. He's already, like, exposed her to everyone in her family. It's way too late to turn, you know, the brakes, put the brakes on. I do feel like we don't know a lot about the situation, though. And maybe that's because OP hasn't told, like, is withholding information from us.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to know more. Not because I don't think that OP, like, shouldn't have divorced. I think OP has evidence that she at least emotionally cheated.
Yeah.
But I just want more information in general.
I want to catch them red-handed.
Yeah. I just want her
if
to
your
admit
partner's
something.
cheating on you, no matter what country you're in, you should have the right to divorce immediately. I read something else online. Isn't it crazy how easy it is to get married and how hard it is to get divorced?
Yeah.
Do you think it should be harder to get married and easy to get divorced? What do you think?
Maybe just the same.
You think the same?
Yeah.
Okay.
Equal.
I'm pro marriage counseling before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Same.
Finish this story. But as glad as I'm getting support from hundreds of strangers, it also makes me think that there are hundreds of strangers willing to support me and help me. The only woman I ever desired this from, and was my everything, spent my whole life with her, didn't support me, and betrayed me. I will come back here to read the text to find comfort every time I need an update after my divorce, which might take years. And I read someone said about an emotional affair. Even if it is just an emotional affair, I cannot tolerate it, and I have no way to prove or make sure of it. She's cheating on me because she is with him alone or with her friends. But the way she and her friends hid it all, I can only assume she loves her ex-fiance. Otherwise, she wouldn't hide it from me, and nobody should tolerate emotional affairs. There's no justice wherever it's a man or a woman. I thought all of this was just stereotypical, but now I know my country is hated on for a reason. Good luck to everyone, and I truly, truly appreciate every single one of you.
Wow.
Have you seen Nathan For You?
Yeah.
The second season?
No.
Have you seen the rehearsal?
No.
It's from Nathan.
I know about it. Yeah.
There's this one part of the thing where he's like doing this like exercise with the pilot, and the pilot invites his girlfriend over to help him out. And come to find out, the girlfriend's pilot is a barista at a very famous barista place where baristas work.
You mean the pilot's girlfriend?
Yeah, the pilot's girlfriend.
Okay.
Very famous barista. And they're long distance. She meets up with the guy, goes out for coffee with him, and she has an anklet that the guy gave to her, and he brings her flowers and stuff. And while they're in the cockpit doing this exercise, she's like explaining that to him, and you can see how visibly upset he is, but she can see like, oh, there's nothing wrong with that. That's just like a friend. Doesn't mean anything. If you bring flowers to someone on a date, is that a friend?
What, is it a date? You just said on a date. If it's a date, then it's not a friend. Do you just mean if you bring flowers to someone?
Yeah, so like, for example, you and I,
Yeah.
we go to get coffee. You bring me flowers. Is it a date or are we just friends?
We're just friends.
I bring you flowers.
You've gotten me flowers.
Yeah, but like that's different. Okay. Anyways, separate. Let's do a different one.
Okay.
Angie and I are long distance.
Yeah.
Angie works at a barista place.
Yeah.
This guy starts talking to her.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, let's go get coffee sometime. Brings her flowers.
Date.
That's
It doesn't work because
Yeah. Okay.
It doesn't work
our
for
relationship's
us.
different. I forgot. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is. I think the wife views it that way.
yeah,
Just a longtime friend. We're
yeah,
getting to know each other. I knew you wouldn't like it. That's why I didn't say anything.
which is a breach of trust. I don't know if she cheated. We don't have. He
Was she-
really always working off of like zero evidence. Not to say that he's not wrong.
Yeah. She
And
was
she's-
selfish though.
She was selfish. She still broke his trust. All grounds for, breaking off the marriage. But I do think the only thing I would say to him is that he seemingly has told everyone in her family that she cheated on him. And it seems like he said physically cheated on, which we don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know if she did that.
I don't know. I think it's fine because she wouldn't stop bothering him about it though.
Yeah. No, I think it's fine that he like broke up and stuff. I
But
just think
do you think it's fine that he messaged everyone in the family?
that's the only thing is that I feel like he assumed a lot of things and messaged them about all of his assumptions as if they were fact. That is
Okay.
the only thing I'm like, It's like, yeah, you could absolutely message them and be like, hey, we're breaking this off because of this and this reason. This is the information I have.
That's why I think more evidence comes into play.
Yeah, because I feel like it's I don't know. Literally, like, he has total right to divorce her. If he wants to tell the family why he's divorcing her, sure. However, I think to say that she physically, like, it seems like he's implying that he told them that she physically cheated with this guy as if it's fact when he doesn't know that.
We could have constructed a better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I'm like,
You need screenshots at that point. You need time
Yeah.
stamps. You need all that kind of things.
yeah.
There's got to be a job that someone creates these messages for people.
Yeah.
Hey, can you send a mass email out to my family that my wife cheated on me? Here's all the evidence I have. Can you make it look pretty?
Partiful. My wife cheated on me in group text or group blast. Text blast.
Definitely a ChatGPT plugin that does that.
Dang, man.
Guys, that's the end of that story. A friend uninvited me from a trip, and my other friends didn't defend me.
Hey, those don't sound like your friends.
So I have a friend group from college, and we all still hang out with each other, as every group does, every few months. My friend, let's call her Ava, and I hang out almost every weekend. We are very close. She's also good friends with another group in our friend group. Let's call her Becca. By the way, this comes from VizVac, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, Becca and I are not super close, but I always thought we were friendly together. I know in girl groups, it's normal not to be super close with everyone, and that's okay. I always try to be your friend and treat her the same as I do the other girls. A few months ago, our group was at a picnic discussing a group trip. Becca said her family had a cabin upstate, and we should all go there for a weekend. Everyone agreed, and we all set the date for this past weekend. Everything was great and normal these past few weeks. We were all texting in the group chat about going on this trip and sharing what we were going to pack and what movies we're going to watch. The night before we were supposed to leave, Becca sends me a text message essentially saying, "Hi, I feel like we're not close friends. I think you don't like me, and that's okay. I don't want us to be fake with each other, so it's best that you don't join us this weekend." I'm shocked. However, I try to be understanding and tell her I do like you and enjoy our hangouts. It's just we're not super close. I don't like faked around you. I totally understand, and the group can go without me. If I did anything to hurt you, I'm sorry, and I'm open to talking about it. This literally hurt me, and I was in shock trying to figure out what happened and what I did wrong. I texted my best friend, Ava, who was attending the girls' trip, to let her know I was uninvited. Her first reaction was, "Oh well, you girls aren't close anyway, so it's whatever."
Uh-oh. Yeah, there's a second group chat that you're not in. They're all in it and you're not.
There's not such thing as a second group chat.
In this story, 100%. If that's how your friend just responded, just be, oh, well, I mean, I guess you guys aren't no one's really friends anyway, so yeah, I guess it makes sense. There's another group chat where everyone is like, yeah, we don't want her to go. I'm sorry. That hurts a lot, but that sounds like what that is.
She then said, "I hope you don't expect me to get in the middle of this because I don't think it's my place and would affect my mental health." I, of course, trying to be accommodating, said everything is okay and it's okay for her not to get involved. After a day of crying about this and feeling really awful, I realized that it was a really crappy thing that Becca did to me. And I also realized that my best friend Ava was not super supportive of me. I don't expect my best friend to not go on the trip, but I expect her to acknowledge that Becca did was really mean and awful. I just wanted her support, and I was hoping that never the topic of me comes up during the girls' trip, and she would stand up for me and said, hey, it's okay for you guys not to be friends, but it's not okay to exclude someone from a group event at the very last minute. That felt very corporate, the way she said that.
But like, it's true. I feel like I would take almost a corporate approach to this.
Yeah.
Because it is very like, hey guys, you could have, I mean, like, it's true. Like, you could have just like told me not to go, I don't know, like not the day before.
Yeah.
Maybe a week before. Or just, if you don't want to be my friend, let's just like, don't pretend to be my friend. Because that's like, why are you manipulating me?
Yeah.
Why?
This is weird. I let Ava know that her lack of support was really hurtful to me. And if she was in my position, I would acknowledge that our mutual friend did something really awful. I would feel really bad going on this trip, knowing Ava is at home really hurt. However, she thinks that this conflict is solely between Becca and I, and that she shouldn't get involved. She said she has an independent friendship with Becca, and that getting involved would make things worse. Do you think it's wrong / too much of me to expect my best friend to stand up for me when our mutual friend uninvited me last minute to a group event? I'm not asking her to pick a side. However, feels like she is with Becca, essentially bullying me. It's okay that she wants to be friends with Becca. That's totally acceptable. However, I do think you should have the courage to stand up to a friend who's bullying your other friend. Greatly appreciate your insights. Thank you. We got an update and an edit. I don't know. They're not friends. They're not your friends.
There is something true to that there can be like people within a group that like not everyone likes everyone, you know, to the same degree. But also it's like if Ava's your best friend and she's in a circle of people that are like just slamming on you, she would be like, hey, let's stop that. You know?
Yep. We got an edit. Thank you all for your comments. I agree. In principle, friends should stick up for each other, but that's not always the reality. I'm okay with not being friends with this group. Friends change a lot in your 20s, I guess. Some stay, some go. It is what it is, and you don't mind a bit. I spoke to my best friend, Ava, and she's pretty set that she shouldn't get in the way and that it's not her place to say anything. She also is now saying that she doesn't think I should be upset considering Becca and I were never close friends. And there were times I criticized Becca behind her back, so I shouldn't be upset. Maybe she's right. I shouldn't speak ill about someone, but I'm not perfect. And I think there's a difference between a private criticism and a direct offense. If that changes your perspective, let me know. Edit 2, I texted Becca and let her know that her actions were mean-spirited and unkind, and I'm not okay being friends. I left our group chat. I spoke to Ava and we agreed to take some time apart and speak in person about this next week. Edit 3, hi all, here's the final update.
Okay.
I spoke to Ava on the phone and it seems like we just don't see eye to eye on this case. She said she acknowledges I'm hurt, but ultimately it was Becca's choice. I think this argument is going in circles, so I decided to put the issue to rest. I think I'm going valid in my ask. Ava is just not the person to support me in that way that I wish. Ava and I are still friends. I think I'm willing to let this just be an isolated moment where we didn't align, and that's okay. I have other friends who are willing to stand up for me, and I have had a newfound appreciation for them. Ava and I will continue to be friends, but I will keep this in mind for the future. And OP lied to us. That wasn't the last update.
There's another one.
We got more.
Subverting expectations. That's how you get a good reaction out of your audience right there.
Update. My best friend Ava calls me to chat a week after the whole uninvited situation happened. We talk like normal, and then she tells me that she wanted to tell me the truth about what happened and why I was uninvited. Here's what she tells me. Basically, a weekend before we were supposed to go to the cabin for a girls' trip, we all went out for drinks at the bar. There was our entire girl group and a few other mutual friends. Basically, Becca was trying to set up Ava with one of the guys at that event. And turns out all of the girls in the group were upset with me because they thought I was flirting with him, knowing they were trying to set him up with Ava. Oh, this is news to me because I have given this man zero thought. This is all out of left field. I just started laughing when Ava told me about this because what the F?
Wow.
So Becca was trying to be Cupid and was a little hurt. OP was just talking. Dude, that's how you play Cupid. You
Yeah.
no.
on, man.
Who could have possibly guessed that we have another clear-cut case where open and honest and vulnerable communication would have prevented all of this from happening? If someone would have just go, you know what, OP? I really don't like how you kind of like tried to overstep Ava when we were at the bar the other week, and you would be, excuse me, what? I don't even remember that guy's name. What are we talking about? I didn't mean to. This was all misunderstanding. Let's try to talk less.
Yeah, let me clarify. I was not flirting with him. I didn't speak to him at all except for a few minutes very late into the night. From my perspective, he was the one asking me about my dating life and how I feel about men, etc. I had a similar conversation with the other girls and guys when the topic came up with them. I was not flirting with those other girls or guys either. Also, I would never flirt with a guy knowing my friend likes him. That's not the type of person I am. I thought my friends knew that, and I really thought Ava knew that about me. Anyways, I guess these are the things being whispered about me, which led to Becca uninviting me completely. This was not brought up to me before the girls' trip. Ava asked if I found that guy attractive, and I said no. That's basically the only communication about this situation I'm aware of. Wow. I don't know. I didn't think I said anything flirtatious to him. I didn't ask him about his dating life or spicy sleep life. I didn't touch him in any way. Didn't ask for his contact or anything. I was just being friendly. I just wish they'd ask me about the situation instead of assuming the worst. So yeah, I'm done being friends with these girls. It just feels like a blatant slut shaming. I'm hurt by Ava, but I clarified to her that I would never do that, and I'm sorry if my conversation with him looked flirtatious. I don't want to continue this fight because I have other priorities in my life. Thanks for your thoughts. And I have a thought. You can go to your favorite freaking podcast platform, search up OK Storytime, and see the plethora of stories we have waiting for you there on Apple, iHeartRadio, or Spotify, wherever you want to go.
Yeah, we're out there, folks. You can find us.
These aren't really your friends. I
Doesn't
don't
sound
know.
like it, no.
It seems like you're the convenient friend. Whenever they need more people or numbers, you're just someone they pick up. They don't really want to have a depth friendship with you. Edit 1. I just really wanted to say and appreciate your thoughts. I don't care. When Ava told me about this issue, I specifically told her that I don't want to be friends with people who assume the worst of me. And because I don't want to argue, I just said Ava and I were fine. But I think you're right that she's not been a good friend to me. And she did let her jealousy get in between our friendship. Our first conversation was really hostile. She kept telling me that it was not her place to get involved and that it's between Becca and I. But actually, this does have to do with Ava. And instead of telling me what was wrong, she just made me feel bad about being upset that I was excluded. I think I will kind of distance myself from her. And we can still be friends, but just not as close. As for the other girls in the group, screw them. I'm fine never hearing from them again. I have other friends who have my back. Thanks again. Wow. Guys, friend groups. Good friend groups.
Yes, good ones.
I'm separating from my husband, but he's still trying to control me.
Snip. Oh, I cut that connection.
And this comes directly from the OK Storytime subreddit. I, 34 female, left Alan, 30 male, my soon-to-be ex-husband of 4 years, over a history of cheating, financial abuse, and emotional abuse. I had begged him for any sign of internal motivation to change his behavior instead of simply doing as he was told. Showing up to therapy isn't enough. He'd done it before and done nothing to change. I asked for more and he ignored me. He started a motorcycle project with his best friend instead and spent hours on the phone with his best friend. There was much more to this, but I'm trying not to hyper explain. By the way, this comes from Interesting Slice 117, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. He ended up leaving me and our 3 children, 2 special needs toddlers, and a preteen from a previous relationship, leaving to stay at his parents' house. He would pick up the toddlers on Fridays and drop them off on Sundays. This lasted for about a month, ignoring me when I asked questions about house maintenance, ignoring me when the town and our basement flooded, promising to help fix the fence, and then simply not showing up or only showing up for 2 hours with no heads up. The fence is still broken, even now. This left the house maintenance, errands, childcare, occupational therapy, speech therapy, and the childhood behavioral therapy appointments largely on me. He only helped with mowing the lawn once, and mowing over my garden somehow, and fixing one panel of the fence. That was the case until my date. This was incidentally my second ever date. I had never been on an actual date before. I had gone on one the week beforehand, and I had mentioned to him the dinner, which he assumed to be platonic, incorrectly.
Well, were you set up? Was this an arranged relationship? How did you marry this guy and not go on a date with him?
In 1 week's time, I had gone on my first 2 ever date during this time with the toddlers for the first time in my life. Of course, I did this with people I was very clear with that I had no capacity for anything serious and where I was at emotionally, so they could decide if they wanted to spend time with me, as I didn't want to be dishonest and waste their time. To my surprise, they wanted to have dinner with me anyway. Both of them enjoyed spending time with me and didn't pressure me for anything more than what I was able to give, and it was awesome. Unfortunately, during my second date, Alan had correctly guessed via text message that I was on a date, and when he asked how my date was going, I tried to ignore him about it, but I refused to lie. So the truth came out. He blew up on me, told me I was cheating on him, blowing up my phone with text messages and later phone calls. Over 100 phone calls that night alone, from 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. While he had the toddlers alone at his parents' house. They went on yet another vacation. The funniest part is, and I didn't know this at the time, he had been on a 4-hour rooftop pool date 2 days prior to my second date and was with a woman he thought he was cheating on me with a month prior to this, when he misunderstood that I was in fact actually leaving him and not asking for space because I was considering leaving him.
That's crazy. So like he was on a date with a woman and he's like, I did cheat on my wife with the, oh wait, oh, you left me already? Oh, well then that wasn't any fun. I thought I was cheating on you.
He wanted to cheat on you.
This guy
crazy
stinks.
He had assumed the latter and immediately contacted her for some spicy attention, phone calls, and pictures. After he finally calmed down and returned the children the next night, he told me he couldn't do this anymore. Whether we were together or not, he could not keep staying at his parents' house, but he couldn't emotionally handle me dating other people yet if he came back to help with the kids and the household. So we agreed to mutually shelve dating, and given his history of cheating, he even started sharing his location. He began journaling and taking supplements and was even diagnosed with BPD when he finally opened up to his psychiatrist about what's been going on, finally putting in the work to change his behavior. Although much too late for our marriage, he is finally showing internal motivation to be a better person, and I'm so happy for him. Even if I'm bitter, it took ruining our marriage for him to get there. Here's the issue that I have gathered you all here today to address.
Okay.
It's been a month since then, and I had, while we were living separately, taken up sunbathing, specifically for vitamin D, as breakups throw me into health trends. Peak hours for vitamin D production in my area right now are between 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. While I can tan at almost any time of day, that's not the goal, though it is a byproduct. Right now, tan lines are very in. It's July of 2025. Shout out right now.
Shout out to the moment right now that we're in.
And people are tattooing tan lines on their body. I have not heard of this.
That tan lines are like a trend right now?
Yeah. I am very...
I've heard it a little bit. Sorry, I'm looking up vitamin D sun facts.
I am very uncomfortable being seen as desirable like that by most people. So I have been sunbathing in the backyard in strategic locations to avoid being seen by neighbors and adjusting my bathing suit strategically as I sunbathe to avoid visible tan lines. Alan has been staying later at work since he left for his parents' house in the first place, and since he got back too. Initially, he told me, work is different now, I have to stay late, and tried to imply he was working until 5 p.m. back when he was staying with his parents. When he went through his timeline with me, I discovered that this was a lie, and he stayed late, but only until 3 p.m. He used to arrive home some days as early as noon, and could even take over the toddler's therapy appointment sometimes, and let me rest or decompress an extra hour or two from a long day of overstimulation. Since he got back, he hasn't been home before 2:30 more than twice, missing every therapy appointment except one on a day I double booked. And he has been mentioning that with the tariffs, there isn't actually a lot of work for everyone right now. Today, I finally had enough. Today, he isn't set to arrive home until 5 p.m., and his timelines aren't adding up. I can't prove he's breaking our cohabitation agreement, where he can't use cohabiting as an excuse to keep me from dating while he does whatever he wants. But it's been a week of him arriving home later and later, and as the clouds come in.
He brings the clouds with him wherever he goes.
Today, it was sunny and beautiful, and I wanted to get back to sunbathing. Now, normally, I don't sunbathe in the front yard for a few reasons. I won't be able to adjust my bathing suit to avoid tan lines, and the neighbors are close. We live in town. I have no less than 6 neighbors within raise my voice distance, and one of them hits on me extensively. I don't like attention from most people, and that neighbor is one of the people I don't like attention from. Today, I sucked it up, put on my bathing suit, and took the children into the front yard so I could keep an eye on them and sunbathe at the same time. The backyard was not an option as it's much bigger with lots of toddler hiding spots and sharp tools for fixing the fence, abandoned by the fence.
Well, you can move those. Regardless, you're entitled to be able to sunbathe in your front lawn, and like your dumb, loudmouth neighbor shouldn't get a say in where you have to sunbathe. But maybe you should also move the, sharp pointy tools out of the backyard.
Yeah, that doesn't change the fact though that they can run and hide in more places.
No, I agree. I'm just saying you should probably not have the tools that can hurt the kids out in the backyard, period.
The front yard is less than an eighth of the size of the backyard and fenced in as well, with a shaded porch and plenty of shaded areas for the toddlers to play. I explained to Alan I had been resenting his new work schedule as I hadn't been able to sunbathe once during peak UVB hours for the vitamin D, except on weekends. And this is meant to be done 3 times a week with resting days in between. In addition to his timelines not adding up, it was making it difficult to not be annoyed constantly. So I was going to begin sunbathing in the front yard while caring for the children to alleviate some of that resentment. I explained I wouldn't be adjusting my swimsuit to avoid tan lines because I wouldn't be comfortable showing more skin than the bathing suit already shows. Traditional standard, not a butt floss swimsuit or anything revealing, though it is a 2-piece that shows my belly. While I know I don't owe him an explanation, I didn't want him to hear it from a neighbor and feel as if I was hiding something. He blew up on me, telling me he was uncomfortable with me sunbathing in front of the neighbors, asking me to cover up more, and asking me why I was making the unilateral decision to sunbathe where people could potentially and very likely see me without consulting him first.
What are you, her agent? He's like, we have a modeling contract. You can't just be laying out in the front yard.
People could take pictures.
People could take pictures and they'll make millions.
I explained he wasn't part of the decision because it's my decision to make. That even if we were together, this would be controlling behavior.
Big fact.
This would be no different than going to the neighborhood pool all my neighbors go to, except that I can do this safer with 2 special needs toddlers in my care. He said his feelings didn't matter to me and I was being inconsiderate to sunbathe without talking to him about it first.
Bro, your feelings don't matter anymore. We are not together.
Now I'm starting to wonder if there's any credence to what he's saying and if I'm being unreasonable. By the way, it's never unreasonable for you to listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app and search OK Storytime. Some possibly important context. I have malabsorption and take vitamin D with K2, but can only absorb some of it. Sunbathing was recommended to me to make up for the rest. The malabsorption means I'm underweight, enough that I dislike my body and sometimes get negative comments. But I've managed to gain 7 pounds, look less underweight and more lanky. I'm not well endowed top or bottom, but I was a model, and despite the toddlers being twins, my body has not changed much from what it was when I did model. I also feel like even if I was a 10 out of 10 conventionally, it would still be my right to sunbathe in my own front yard while watching my toddlers splash in puddles away from sharp objects and within an easy line of sight.
I'm still concerned that there's a bunch of sharp objects in the backyard. You need to go move those.
But I am on the spectrum, and I may be failing to understand something here.
Nope, you
That's
understand it perfectly. Your gut is right on the money.
You're right on the mark.
Yeah, don't worry about that.
Go sunbathe in your front yard with your kids, splashing around.
And please get the
and don't
rusty,
feel bad about
pointy
it.
tools out of your backyard.
Yeah,
if your
maybe just
ex-husband
pay someone
won't
to fix your
come,
fence.
Yeah, do something. I don't know.
We're at
You gotta
that
do
point.
something, but don't leave the sharp pointies out in the backyard.
I stopped paying for my ex's bills because her new boyfriend moved in.
He can pay for them.
And trigger warning, there's accusation of financial abuse in this story. So, my ex and I split up about 3 years ago. No bad feelings. We just drifted apart until we realized that we were now co-parents, not husband and wife anymore. Got it. We have 2 kids, 13 and 10. My ex used to work as an infrastructure engineer, and I was working as an owner driver with my own truck. By the way, this comes from Revolutionary Half 170, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, at around the time the kids were born, we decided that she was going to be a stay-at-home mom. The trucking was going well, and I had bought a second truck and a van, so I stayed home doing all of the planning and admin while I had the trucks and van out. When the smallest started school, the ex wanted back to work part-time, but her time out of the workforce had hit her really hard, and she needed to learn lots of stuff, and basically she couldn't get back in at her previous level and had to pretty much start over. Over the years, the haulage firm had expanded, and frankly, it was getting a bit of a pain in the butt. We were too big for where we were, and were needing to move to a new yard, so I sold it off for a reasonable sum and set up freelancing as a dev. Did computer science at uni. We both had relatives pass away, leaving us property and money, so we were mortgage-free on the family home. When we split, I moved into a house that I had inherited. We basically split the assets in half, split the costs of the kids' activities in half, and when we were sat looking at the money, she concluded that she would need to go back to work full-time and she would miss time with the kids, as they were with me the 3 days she was at work and every other weekend. I felt a bit bad for that because if she hadn't been out of work for so long, then she would be in a better place career-wise. So I offered to cover half of her bills until the kids went off to uni. She didn't want to at first, but I said to her that she helped me out and had now suffered as a result, so it was only fair that I returned the favor. It's helping my kids out, and I didn't want her to be running down the savings that was essentially the kids' inheritance.
I think it's very, very angel move there.
Yeah, very
But also
mature.
very, like, not realistic, very, like, sensible. Because it's, you know, we want to make sure that the kids out, like, if the mom is taken care of, then the kids are taken care of.
Right.
And I think that's,
Right, especially if they, like, split on good terms, too. It's like, that's good. So the situation has worked out about as well as it can. We co-parented happily. Everything is all good. Until she met a new guy.
Uh-oh.
He's someone we knew from way back, but we lost touch with. They started dating. She's really happy, and she's talking about him moving in, which I'm okay with. The kids get on with him, and I trust her judgment and know that she wouldn't put anything ahead of the kids. So I said to her, if Lotto is moving in, you won't need the money towards the bills, will you? And she said no, she wouldn't, but she was thinking of putting it into the kids' accounts. Great idea, says me. I'll put some on their cards for pocket money and the rest in their savings. So that was what we agreed. But when the new chap found out, he went up the wall and accused me of being controlling and of financial abuse.
And then your ex said, no, you don't understand. You're wrong. Right?
Hopefully.
Right?
A few of our friends have also said that he's got a point and that it looks like jealousy. So am I the a-hole here? There are some edits and clarification. We have joint 50-50 custody of the kids, so I have no actual obligation to be paying anything. But that said, I don't want my kids to miss out on their many and varied activities, so I carry on paying for half of those. Likewise, I offered the extra money to help with bills because I wanted my kids to benefit from time with both parents and also to not have to live in a house where money is a worry. Some have mentioned when in division of assets from inheritance and selling my business, these are mostly locked away in long-term investments, so they aren't available. We were perhaps unwise in doing this, but we saw it as the kids' inheritance. My ex would rather have worked more than dipped into that money for living costs. The ex has been around for a cup of tea and a chat. Seems that Letta was indeed thinking that she was his meal ticket. Apparently, he had suggested moving in, but not told her that his landlord was ending his tenancy on a Section 21 to sell the property.
Turns out she chose pretty poorly.
Sounds like it. If anyone knows what a Section 21 is, by the way, sounds like are they in the UK?
Probably, yeah. The Lados are.
Yeah, from little slang that we're getting here and there.
Lado. Really quick.
Yeah.
I think you kind of ignore what everyone's saying.
For sure.
Unless your wife comes to you and says, hey, I need help. Or sorry, your ex comes to you and says, hey, I need help.
Yeah.
It really doesn't matter what he thinks.
Yeah.
And you could just say, hey, I don't really want to talk to your new partner.
Right. Like,
So, he kind of has no say. So
yeah, exactly. This is
Yeah.
a decision between me and you.
about our kids,
yeah.
you're with him. I'm not with him. So why is he trying to talk to me?
Right. Well, I guess it's weird though, because I mean, I guess it kind of does involve him, because the reason OP is saying like, oh, like I don't need to pay rent anymore because like your new guy is moving in, right? Like he should be paying the rent.
Should be.
So it's like I guess it kind of involves him, and it's like technically you could say it's making a decision that the other guy's paying rent, but at the same time, that's expected.
It's expected.
He's living
think,
there.
I think, but my point is like the wife should not be talking to him. Well, I don't even know how this guy's talking to OP.
Yeah.
I just think that if it's him talking to OP directly, cut that off.
Yeah.
Don't talk to him.
For sure.
If it's the wife talking about what this guy's saying to OP, then I would just say, hey, like that's your relationship. If you need help, we can talk about that for the kids.
Right.
But like, that's kind of your relationship.
Yeah, totally. When she started discussing money and his contribution, he asked why when I was paying for the kids. So she told him that if he was living there, he needed to chip in, and that if he moved in, she couldn't keep asking for money from me. So she's upset, and I think that that's going to be over. In the meantime, he's ranting to anyone that'll listen that I'm the typical evil, jealous ex and controlling her with money. There are some comments. Comment number 1 says, not the a-hole, looks like he was interested in the free ride, and now that the gravy train has stopped, he's all upset. Your ex has no issues with the money stopping because she isn't interested in taking advantage of you, and 2 adults living together should be able to cover their own expenses. But new boyfriend doesn't want that. Comment number 2 says, not the a-hole, tell anyone moaning that you pay child support for your children, not grown men looking for a free ride. He'll already be saving in rent as the house is paid for. Is he really looking for his bills and groceries to be paid for by you too? If someone moves into another's home, they contribute to living there. That being said, contribute to, not pay half as your kids are eating the food and running up the utility bills. On to the update. Thanks for all the comments and advice. Just thought I would update you all on last week. So, Lado turned out to have being punted out of his place, not through fault. The landlord was selling. Okay, gotcha. He hadn't told my ex. Also, he works with my best mate who told me that he's on incredibly thin ice and was on his last chance for attendance. Me, the ex, and Lado got together at that weekend and had a long chat. The main points were, if he's going to be her partner and live there, then he has to set up and contribute both financially and also with the children. As regards to the bills, both my ex and I had an expectation that another adult in the house would be contributing, meaning that bill money from me would be superfluous. I agreed that stopping the money because someone moves in and potentially restarting it if they move out does look like it's controlling, although it was agreed that I didn't have that intent. I said that I would continue giving my ex the money and that if it was surplus to requirements, that she would put it in the kids' accounts. I do trust her that she would do this. At that point, I left and went home thinking that all was good. I'm on holiday with the kids this week and I got a warning that the house alarm was going off. I rang my neighbor and he went around and said that one of the windows had been smashed and that my other car had all of its windows smashed.
No. Did the guy do it?
For sure.
Oh no.
For sure.
No.
Oh my gosh.
So bad.
I logged into my cameras on the iPad and sure enough, it's Lado smashing the
Lado.
of the car.
Lado.
Out of
He's
the car.
smashing the F out of the car.
And throwing bricks at the window.
Stop throwing bricks at my window.
Wait, that's crazy.
And ring, ring, ring. Police.
Yeah.
My ex chose a horrible guy.
Literally. I'm glad that the kids were with OP and that they were not home because
goodness.
that's terrifying. Turns out that after I left, him and the ex had a major talk where she laid out some home truths and expectations. And when she didn't like the reaction, she ended it.
Nice.
Good. So a couple of days later, he got pissed and came around to my place and smashed it up. I obviously reported it to the police, and with me being away, they spoke to me over the phone and asked me to send all the footage if I could and a statement, and they would speak to him that day. Turns out he got stopped on the way back from my house. He was over the limit and was sleeping it off in custody before he could be charged. And by the way, you could fall asleep listening to full episodes of more stories just like this one. Go to iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever your favorite podcast app is, and search OK Storytime.
Do it.
There's so many. You can sleep through
Do
so many
it.
nights. There's a little bit more to the story, but wow. I think, well,
All's well that ends well.
I guess so. I mean,
get him arrested and get him out.
Yeah. Sucks that you have to deal with broken stuff now and go
Yeah.
through that whole process, but at least this annoying ex is getting exactly what is coming to him.
Yeah, I mean, you can always take him to court, get him to pay for those damages.
Right. There's a little bit more to the story. There's a bit of an edit. I've seen a couple of comments about how I need to speak to the ex and tell them to be more careful. I 100% trust her judgment in who comes into the kids' lives. I was just as surprised by him as she was. And like most people, she's capable of learning from experience. Also, another edit. The Glaziers have been back out. I owe the lady next door big style for all the help that she's been. And apparently the total bill just for the house is going to be about £7,000. That's not counting the car, which is an old Rover I was restoring, so no idea how much that will cost. There are some comments. Comment number 1 says, some people just can't help themselves from self-sabotaging. OP says, I've got some sympathy to a certain extent because he suffers really badly with PTSD from when he was in Iraq for Optelic. But I was there too, and it's like, dude, we're all suffering, but you have to do something to help yourself, and he never has.
Thanks.
Crazy lore right there.
Yeah, OP's like, I don't care, dude. I was there too.
Yeah, I've got PTSD too, just like everyone else.
Just like everyone else. You know what I do? Suck it up.
Dang. Someone else responds, I still think he did you a favor by showing who he was so completely. Like $7,000, hopefully less post-insurance, is a lot, but it's pennies compared to what someone like this could manage after a couple of years. Seems like the type to drain the kid's savings accounts, take whatever money or stuff he can, and be a massive pain in the butt to get to leave once he was settled. And that is the end of that story. Yeah, I don't believe in karma, but I do believe that if someone is a bad person, they'll eventually do something stupid like this and then face the consequences.
It'll just, I mean, if you're a bad person and you're bad to enough people, one of them is gonna sock you in the face, you know?
Exactly.
And like, I mean that metaphorically and also truthfully. It's just like law of, I don't know, Murphy's Law. No, it's not Murphy's Law. That's just like, that doesn't really apply there. But it's the law of attraction. You attract the bad stuff by being bad.
There you go. Exactly.
You're going to get socked in the face.
Exactly. Yeah. That is the end of that story.
And there you go.